It
You're
doesn't
wrong.
make any sense.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're all wrong.
welcome to the Game Station
They're wrong.
Podcast. Knowing you, you're probably the wrong one. You have a history of being wrong.
Thank you.
I could actually go as far as to say that in terms of being wrong, you are on a highly professional level. You're well practiced. You're essentially paid for being wrong. Welcome to the Game Station Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is TotalBiscuit, your host, or as I like to call Shepherd for this particular podcast.
Hi.
Yes, generally speaking, it means that we're going to have a grand adventure.
Cats.
I'm going to herd cats, and then I'm going to die at the end in one of 3 disappointing ways. Also on the show...
I'm desperately trying to get, like, my photo in the background. People said I need stuff in the background, so I got... when I was at CD Projekt, I had all the developers sign a giant naked picture of Triss Marigold.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
I put
is
that in the
why I
background.
cropped the breasts out of the shot, because it turns out
Oh,
YouTube
I need
doesn't
to
like
see
that.
the cropping job you did.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You
You
get
can see her
legs. If you're a
legs.
leg guy,
legs.
then you're
Oh,
pretty
and you
much
can see the
sorted.
Legs?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know.
dang. Anything.
I know. But you just go up a little bit. It's kind of hot.
Yeah.
We're going to come back from a break, and it's just going to be boobs on the screen, and you're going to get in so much trouble with the internet. Because if there's one place the internet will... One place boobs will not be tolerated.
It's
it
the
is
internet. Yes, we will not tolerate
We
that
will
kind
not
of
tolerate the rest
filth,
here.
that smut on this show. Speaking of smut, welcome Dodger to the show.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good, wasn't it? That was a good
You
segue.
got aimed at me this time. Yeah, that was good.
Yep.
We were talking about our feelings on the Prometheus movie, and Jesse
I have
had
a prediction.
about halfway through his prediction, and then the last half of his prediction made no sense.
It
No
makes
sense
sense. I'm telling you, I'm right. I'm right.
No,
All
I
right,
think you're
internet,
right.
prepare yourselves. TB, you don't care, so
Wait,
you can just like go.
yes,
jump
I
up for a
do
little
care.
bit.
Don't spoil the
okay.
Prometheus movie with your stupid
No,
predictions.
No.
I haven't even
Yeah,
got to
I-
introduce
I-
Davis
I-
yet. You're still talking.
Hold on.
What's wrong with you?
We all know Davis. The internet knows
so
Davis.
rude.
It's kind of true. We do know Davis. Davis from the Warp Zone. Welcome to the show.
Woo! Let me
Next
just
five
say,
five
folks, I
podcasts,
am
we're gonna eat
very
members.
flattered and honored to be here.
I'm not sure why.
Aw.
It's just like
Sure why either.
it's like this is the place where the dregs of the game station go to die. That's why we're here every single week. Our torment continues.
Can I
Yeah,
can I
it's
tell
no
my theory now? Can I say my theory? I want to blow some people's minds. Is what I'm saying.
All right. Go
Okay.
on then.
Prepare yourselves. Sit down. You're gonna need to sit down. Okay.
We're
Having read the synopsis, which is basically, even though we all know it's an alien movie, they go out like they're going in search of human life on another planet, right? Like the origins of human life, I believe, is what the synopsis said. Like the little tagline shit they send out. Anyway, seeing that and the 2 trailers, I'm calling it now. 1, the planet they end up at, the alien planet, is primordial Earth. Boom, calling it. They go back in time. That's my thought process number 1. 2. Because
I'm sorry.
they're back in
They
time.
go back in time.
They go back in time. Why do they go
wait.
back in time? Why not
This-
just go back to original Earth?
Have you ever heard of something called Occam's razor? Because you're not applying it here. Not at all.
No,
It makes
you're wrong. You're wrong.
no.
I'm
It,
telling you
it
right
makes
now.
more
No,
sense.
in
It-
the trailers,
Right.
in the trailers, they go through what looks like a wormhole. I'm telling you, they think they're going to another planet to find the origins of
Stargate.
mankind, but they're going back in time. It's not in Stargate. They go back in time all the fucking time. Ronan right now is like, I've been back in time like 15 times. Ronan's a character from Stargate Atlantis, by the way. So I'm telling you right now,
Mhm.
he's also Khal Drogo. But and Conan the Barbarian. Okay, so
Conan.
anyway.
It doesn't matter. It
And
doesn't
Conan,
matter.
yeah.
Continue.
So they go back in time and end up on primordial Earth, and the aliens were there the entire time, and the aliens started on Earth, and then something happens where they get blasted off into space at the end, like on the ship probably, and people are left on Earth, and that's the first people. They pull a Battlestar Galactica. But here's the best part. Here's why blow your brain just explodes. The android, right?
This is the part that makes sense.
He's the first human. He becomes the first human. And we're based off the android. Because the androids in the future are so, like, realistic stuff, we're based off of them. Boom. I'm calling it right now. You all think I'm insane. That's what it is.
Yeah, I actually do, because that doesn't
That's what
make
it
any
is.
sense whatsoever. So thank you for that.
Well, they're going to explain it in the movie. I'm piecing
Let's-
together plot points.
Let me just
Two
point out,
trailers,
by the way,
and I'm
that
telling
the
you right now that
the
I'm right.
Wayland
I'm right.
the Wayland
I'm right.
Yutani androids bleed white. Would you like to explain that? How can they possibly be the ancestors of
I'm
humankind if they
telling
bleed
you.
white? Also,
Look
they're
at the trailers.
machines.
Have they said they can
The trail-
reproduce?
look- it doesn't matter. Look at the trailers. I'm telling you, there's something. There's
You're making
something
shit
big
up.
about Cap.
You're making shit
The
up
only-
Look,
completely.
The only thing I
look,
like
all right,
about
all right,
your
it doesn't matter.
theory is that we might all be Michael Fassbender's kids. Like that's the best part of
No,
your
that's
entire
true.
theory.
That is
That's not
here's
terrible.
the thing, though.
I'll be okay
Did
with
you
that.
see? Did you see the newest?
I'm letting you know
the
now.
newest video?
I'm letting you know now. I'm letting you know now. I'm telling you.
Yes.
You have to believe me.
Yes.
If this happens, I will be on the when I guarantee everyone right now, all four of us will see this movie. When this happens, and I come back on the podcast and I'm proven correct, I demand nude pics of TB. Okay, I want them on the internet. Not
Seems
for
like
me,
a
for
very
the fans.
unilateral arrangement.
Well,
Is this the
because I'll
same
be
one
correct.
as? Well, when I win
But
King of the Web with 100. Oh, sorry. Shall I do my best Jesse voice? When I win King of the Web with my 100,000 million votes,
There it is.
TotalBiscuit will sing this song, and I didn't bother to actually ask him about it.
Whoa,
I'm sorry.
whoa.
Is that
Whoa.
the same kind of thing?
Where's my
Oga?
dialect from?
I don't even
hey,
know.
y'all. It's
Sen-
me, Jesse Cox.
That's an
I'm on the-
extremely
Well.
great interpretation of Jesse Cox. I'm definitely a fan of
All right,
that.
look.
Seems legit.
Fine, TV. What will you give the internet when I'm proven correct?
I'm not going to give the internet
It's your show,
anything.
bro. It's your show. You got to give them something.
It's
What-
my
what-
sh-
what-
yeah,
what-
I don't know. I'll tell you what I'll give him. The rest of the show talking
oh.
about video games as opposed to movies. That would be a great idea.
Oh, what?
So what we will do
Oh.
is we will first talk about what we've been playing this week. We will then talk about the news. We will then run through the
I
latest
played
trailers.
all with my smarts.
No, you didn't. You didn't play anything, as usual. Like,
I'm letting you know
what did
right
I let's
now.
play this week? That doesn't really count, does it? Also, we'll be talking about the topics that have arrived on our desk, brought to us by the wonderful guest hosts. I say guest hosts, they're not really guests. Only Davis is a guest. The other two just kind of hang around, but that's the way of it.
Yeah.
And then
That's
we
true.
shall round up some of the choice videos from the Game Session Network before plugging ourselves on this particular show live on air and then leaving. That will be it. That's how it is. That's how it will go. And I can even edit the Prometheus part out in post. It'll be wonderful.
Don't.
No.
Because it's going. I'm letting you know. I want this on record on the internet. It is going to happen. That's the plot. And I'm telling you right now, I have foreseen this. I said months
I
ago
have foreseen
that in May
it.
Diablo was going to come out based on my own using my detective skills to determine. And trust me. That's
You're
two
not
things I've been
Batman.
right about, and one of them I haven't even been right about yet. But I know that I'm going to be right about
A
it.
stopped
So-
clock is right twice per day. That's
I've been right
probably
twice this year so far. So unless I'm wrong the rest of the year, I'm right
You
3
might-
times. That's more than a clock.
That's not
Right.
particularly
Suck it,
unlikely.
clockmaker.
If
Suck it,
That's
clockmakers.
it's not the best thing to
I'm right
actually
3
put out there, is it?
times.
Unless I'm wrong for the rest of the year, like usual, then it will be absolutely
Suck
fine.
it,
I
clockmaker.
guarantee. Because I'm just...
Also,
West Side.
a clock is right more than twice a year, Jesse. It's right.
It's a stopped
365
clock is right
times.
twice per day. That's the point.
I thought we were
Yeah.
doing it by day. Day versus year. You can't change the rules now.
You're not
dicks.
right 3
You
times.
never set
a
the
day,
rules
though.
in the first place.
I'm
Our
right
logic
about
levels really
that's
go
one.
down.
I'm right about Prometheus.
Point.
That's one. Let's continue. We got
No,
like 12
no.
hours of this podcast left to
Nope.
go.
You
I got
can't,
two more
you can't
rights.
count that till it actually
You can't
happens.
just decide that you're right about Prometheus.
Time is
when...
an illusion. If I've learned anything, time is an illusion. Time is not real. It's not relative.
Is that what you tell yourself,
it's-
considering you're always the oldest person on this podcast?
Oh.
TB, I want to. Why is that an O? Like, oh, snap.
Oh, snap! He's dying before me! Oh!
Oh,
Barring
snap.
anything else,
Don't
you're
say
gonna
that.
die first.
Don't say that. Oh, snap. He's managed to live longer. Good call. All right, so
Well,
To be
I'm
fair,
definitely insulted.
considering you, that does surprise me quite a bit.
that's true fact, actually. That's one thing, and since time is an illusion, as Captain Socrates would say, time is an illusion. By the way, that's an inside joke that no one will get unless you watch
Don't
the
do
Terraria.
that! It's like, oh, let's use jokes and references from the Terraria
That don't
episode they
exist
haven't
yet.
seen
That don't
yet.
exist yet.
It isn't even
here's the best
edited.
part.
You haven't even sent
the
me the
best part.
files yet.
It's hyping up Terraria, and And since time is an illusion, it just proves my point. You're welcome, internet.
Let's talk about video games. That sounds like a plan.
I know a game that we can talk about.
Okay. What can we talk
Does
about?
that have to do
Can
with
we
time and
talk
illusions?
about maybe? Can we talk about Skullgirls, because I think that
Yes,
that game
we
is
can talk about
fantastic.
Skullgirls.
It is amazing. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love it.
Am
I
I
played
the
it
only
for the
person
first
that hasn't
time
played
when
it yet?
we went- You haven't played it?
I have not played it yet, no.
Oh, you should.
It's kind of
It's
amazing. It's
so
kind of
good.
awesome.
The
I'm
animation
surprised
style
you guys
is
like it so much.
amazing.
They kicked your ass so hard, both of you.
No, whoa, hold up, son.
Ooh.
Something
Who
that
beat
makes me
you?
like
It's on
We
now.
played 3 times and I beat you once. You played this. You
didn't
play those
button
games
mash
for a
and beat
living.
me.
no
I
less.
button mash and beat you. What, son?
Okay.
What, son? With
I don't
your
play
skills?
those
Where are your
games for a
skills at
living.
now? Where are your skills at now? And I picked 3 characters
No,
that were weaker
like-
than the one character that you picked that was super strong, and I kicked your butt with them. What you gonna do about that? Nothing.
You
The
picked.
thing,
No.
They're weaker because you picked 3. That was a choice
Yeah,
you
and
made.
I still beat you with them,
But you had 3 of them.
but they were weaker. It balances out, Dick.
Doesn't, I don't have.
no.
You have assists.
Alright,
I don't
we
have
should- we should-
assists.
We should probably talk. All right. TB's right. We should probably talk about the game and not how I beat Davis. So, Dodger, why don't you tell us?
You lost more than you won.
Oh, we're all truly impressed
Whatever.
by the manly posturing that's going on between the two of you. Obviously, please, by all means, carry on. It's truly riveting.
We're set. Next Game of
everybody,
Thrones
I'm
night.
sure.
We're settling this.
Like, what I really liked about
Challenge
it
the
is
bone.
that I had no desire to play this game at all because I thought that it looked really dumb. I thought that it wasn't going to be very good. And then we went over to the Warp Zone house for Game of Thrones, and they were playing it, and the animation style is so cool, and all of the characters are insane looking. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's totally different from any fighting game I've played in a really long time, like years. So I
How is
love
it
I think-
mechanically, though? I mean, from an art style perspective, it looked great from the
Oh.
trailers. I mean, hell, there's even ads on my channel for it at the minute, I think. It looks awesome, but, like, from a mechanical standpoint, right, what do you compare it to? Do you compare it to BlazBlue? Do you compare it to Street Fighter? What?
It's like
it
a
has
cross
like
between
Oh.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Marvel 3.
Yeah. Good call.
Like you can
I-
spam things, and it has low, medium, high
Mhm.
combos and attacks. The jump mechanics is much more like Street Fighter, where like if you don't aim exactly where you want to jump, you're just gonna jump up and down, and then
Okay.
you don't do
Yeah.
anything.
But you can
Yeah.
air dash and you can super jump and stuff.
Yeah,
And it's a
all of the
6-button
moves are
game.
so crazy.
Yeah, that's what the best part of the game is. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, those girls got breastises. That's a great game." But honestly,
That's every
that has-
fighting
that
game in
has-
existence.
seriously,
Except for
yeah,
maybe
except this one's
WWF
all
and-
women. Except this one's all women with all breastises and like just flaunting it. But like
And
that's
all
not even the cool
crazy.
part of the game. Like the moves in the game. Well, first off, the characters are like combinations of all sorts of weird. Like there's a ninja nurse, and there's some woman. I think she's probably a Nazi. I don't know what she is, but she carries an umbrella.
She has the red
Um,
patch.
She does
There's
have a
the
red
nurse
patch.
that
There's
turns herself inside out and stuff.
No, the nun. The nun who there's a
Nun.
nun who then turns inside out and becomes an evil demon, which is all sorts of weird looking, and she
And
can
she
like
can
mimic all the other characters. Yeah. There's the
a cat
cat
that pops her
who
head up.
removes her head and throws her head at you.
Okay.
Oh, that's
That's
weird.
kind of
It is
awesome.
so cool. It's
There's
I love it.
I'm trying to think of all the different characters.
really
The problem is that there's the characters are so crazy that it's really kind of hard to think of all the different types. But there's only like 8 characters total.
There aren't
there's
that
8
many
of them.
characters to play.
Yeah. But
yeah,
but
there are only 8.
at-
But it is
you know.
like it's a small indie fighting game though. It's like how many
It's an
Microsoft points?
Yeah, yeah.
800, 1200,
It's
something like that.
50
Yeah.
bucks.
15.
Break it
So
down.
it's 1200. Okay.
It's got a weird sort of I don't know what you a theme. I'm not sure how you I guess the
Aesthetic.
plot, if there's a plot to yeah, aesthetic. Like the plot of the game is like they're competing for some special prize that only like a woman can get. Don't even ask me what the fuck it is. That's I guess an apron.
Is that an allegory for pregnancy or something like that?
But basically, so they're fighting, and then it's like this like 1930s, I guess.
It looks like Rapture.
Sort of like
it's like that
Deco.
style. Art Deco, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
part of it
Okay,
that I don't
okay.
get.
It makes it really it sort of doesn't make any sense with it, but they go all out. Like the menus are like it's seriously
Well, it's
and
framed
the
like a movie
background-
too.
Yeah, and the background is like it has that sort of the suits that have the like I'm trying. What the hell? Not Zoot Suit. Whatever. Everyone looks like they're in Mad Men, basically. Everyone.
That in itself is awesome.
I mean,
Incidentally, I'd like to apologize
in the
to
background.
Reverge Labs and Autumn Games for crashing skullgirls.com. I'm sure you'll have it back later.
Yes.
But
TunaGaming.com.
It's
Go,
really
go, go.
fun.
apparently,
I mean,
TunaGaming.com has been proofed against our attacks now, although I'm not entirely convinced. We'll see.
Oh, what?
we hope we hosted
you guys
on
heard that,
Shibuya.com.
which means
Host it.
we gotta
We host-
crash
Oh,
it.
so we can actually crash Jesse's site as well by crashing Tuna Gaming. That sounds like a
You
fantastic
can't.
idea.
It won't happen. It won't happen. I paid too much money. Single tier. No, I the game seriously is a lot of fun, but it's sort of like borderlines that we're going all silly, we don't care kind of feel.
Yeah.
Where they just, I mean, there's in one scene you're like a cartoon character who shoots giant cannonballs versus I'm trying to think of what the other weird ones are. There's the cat girl. Who did I? Oh, the one that I like Painwheel. No,
Pinwheel is the
Painwheel.
best. I love her.
It's like this weird,
She's
like
this
talks
weird,
like a dude.
skeleton girl that has a big, like,
yeah. She has like
wheel
a
on her
pinwheel
back.
made of blades on her back, and she can fly and attack and do all sorts of stuff. And then in the background, you're like on a city street, and Satan is watching you. I can't even explain it. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's kind of exciting. Yeah.
It does look really good, and it's been getting a lot of great reviews. I mean, I'd be a bit because it's only got 8 characters, but at the end of the day, it's a $15 game. It's kind of nice to not have 5,000 characters to learn, especially if they're all well-rounded and fleshed out as well. That's what I'd like to
they're,
do.
and they're unique. They don't
Yeah.
feel like clones of each other.
That's good. I mean, if there were 8 characters and they felt like clones of each other, I wouldn't be happy. It's like, this is not the 80s
They're
anymore,
all
but
very, very different, and they all have so many different moves.
nice.
Like, I felt like I kept seeing more and more just crazy moves coming out of the same character, and I was like, how?
right.
What? They put so much into this. So it's.
I mean, you wouldn't
think
know
that it's-
considering David's only used
Okay.
one move the entire night. I mean, you
Are you-
wouldn't.
Dude,
you
I
wouldn't
was.
know.
Fuck you. I was.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes, of course
sorry.
you're allowed to swear.
Um,
It's too
okay.
late now, isn't it?
Fuck you. Dude, I was comboing your ass up and down. That's another
Pummeling,
great
that's
thing
all
with
you
the
did. You
combos.
did- There's a move. There's a move the girl with the giant hands on her head does that she just swings like this. And
That's
if
your
you get in the way of
special.
it,
That's
it's
how I would
like
end those
25
combos,
hits.
asshole.
no, you didn't know combos. That's all you did. That's all you did all night to everyone who
Those of
played
you-
against you, nonstop. Don't lie. You got that one move. You're the Chun-Li of this game. Where you're just kicking. You're E Honda. You're just
so-
punching
you're
forward.
so
That's
salty.
it. That's
You're
all
so
you do, bro. That's all you do.
No.
so salty. So
He
much
is.
salt.
So salty.
I worked you so hard, and you're just upset about it.
Whatever. I'm only down one game. You're winning 2-1. It's halftime, bro. It's halftime in America. We're coming back.
Come at me.
USA.
Come at me.
USA.
Davis, what was the game that not this time when we came over for Game of Thrones, but the time before that you were playing a Dota game that you were like, oh, this isn't everything that I wanted it to be.
Wrath of Heroes, the Warhammer.
Oh, it's
MOBA. That
horrible. The game is terrible.
was- It was the. Okay, I was so excited for this game, and then it's like open beta,
It was
yay! And then
awful.
like the first game, like this is shit. This is not
Yeah.
good.
I can tell you why it's awful. I took 30 minutes a couple of months ago on a video to say why it was fundamentally broken and one of the worst games I've ever played. And it comes down to the fact that whichever character you pick, when you use your moves isn't relevant because there's no way to get away from anybody. Ever. You've got no evasion moves or anything like that. You've essentially got an attack, a bigger attack, maybe you've got a stun and an AoE and it's things like that. And you're running around in third person. You've only got 5 moves, by the way. And it's essentially like playing World of Warcraft PvP, only with everything interesting stripped out of it. And in this case, it's Warhammer PvP from the Age of Reckoning, with everything stripped out of it. Not to mention, the monetization model is absolutely horrendous. Really, really bad. They require you to pay
Why? What?
Well, it's a free-to-play game, but they require you to essentially pay for a lot of stuff. And
Oh,
like,
they give you one
microtransactions,
free
or-
character, and he's by far the worst character. He has nothing. He has only attack moves, no stuns, no heals, no like any kind of CC, anything.
What?
Fucking, it's a joke.
That's
Yeah.
a dick move. That's a
also,
dick move.
also
That's
it's
terrible,
it's
yeah.
a 3-team setup, which is a complete clusterfuck. There is no
See,
strategy at all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 3 teams.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So it's like one up above and then two on the side or something. I haven't played the game, so I don't
it's
know.
essentially like the
play
map. Because bear in mind, this is not. We say that it's like a MOBA only because they marketed it like it, and it's got about as many moves. It is essentially World of Warcraft PvP with only 5 moves and no leveling. Equipment is irrelevant, so on and so forth. That's pretty much what it is. So you've got these various battlegrounds where there'll be objectives, and they're usually just like capture this point and hold it. I'm pretty sure they're all like that. And then there'll be arranged kind of in a triangle.
There's 3 different kinds.
Right. Yeah, because
That
I mean, back when
sounds
I
cool.
played it, there was only one way to do it. But like, it's essentially the levels are set up in a triangle for the spawns, and it's a mess. It's a goddamn mess. It's not a fun game in any respect. It is unbelievably frustrating. And it's like it was designed, in my opinion, for people that want a kind of MOBA or MMO experience with all of the skill removed, and I do mean all of the skill. There is the skill ceiling in that game is so incredibly low because there is nothing you can do at all. Not to mention the fact that if you're gonna say, all right, well, I've got a limited number of moves, I can make this interesting by putting skill shots in, like stuff you have to aim. It's all auto lock on, so it's pointless. You aim at someone, you basically tab to your nearest target, hit all your buttons, wait for your cooldown to come off, and circle strafe. And that's the game in a nutshell, and it's horrible.
Sounds great. Sounds
terrible.
great.
And
A lot of
terrible.
development time.
And there's so little. There's like no burst practically.
No, there
to
isn't.
do anything properly, you have to focus fire. But there's 3 teams with 6 people on each, and no one knows what the fuck they're doing.
Exactly.
So it's this huge. You're like, this is God.
It's a
goddamn.
mess. I can see what they were trying to do with it, but it absolutely failed flat out. It is a complete disaster as far as I'm concerned. Absolute
I
disaster.
want it to be a much better game than the
Oh,
makers
no
did.
kidding.
It said it was made by BioWare too, which is
It's not.
that's-
It's BioWare
that.
Mythic, which is not really
First,
the same thing.
first off, do
BioWare's
not.
interns.
I think we can say right now that the statement "it's made by BioWare, so it should be good" should end. It needs to stop.
All right, I want
needs to
to
stop.
kind of stop you there and say that, but you can talk about all of this story nonsense and monetization and business models all these damn well, please. But is anyone seriously arguing that Mass Effect 3 had bad gameplay? I mean, did it? I don't know. Was anyone here played it?
No. But agree. I think Mass Effect 3 the game itself was really fun. Ending aside, I loved the game. However, with that said, I'm thinking more like Dragon Age 2, stuff like that.
Yeah, but you say stuff like that. Dragon Age 2 was a massive, noticeable blip in BioWare's actual catalog of this isn't very good. Genuinely not very good, as in a huge drop in quality.
Whoa!
What about-
That would be like saying like, yeah, we're gonna release Warcraft 2 and it suck, right? And then be like, well, that was just a blip in Blizzard's catalog. They can't do that.
Yes,
Right?
but you can say that,
That's
though.
when they're flagship. If
Dragon Age was
Diablo 3
never a
sucks-
flagship. Are you serious? Dragon Age was never a flagship property at all.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Are you kidding me?
Mass
Yes,
Effect
it was.
is their flagship property. Old Republic is their flagship property. Dragon Age, I'm kind of surprised we even got a second
fine.
one.
Old Republic. You're gonna go out on a limb and say Old Republic lived up to all the hype that was with that.
Oh, please. Of course it wasn't going to live up to the hype. But in terms of actual
And-
gameplay mechanics, it was what we expected.
It's Warcraft.
Yes, of course
It's
it's Warcraft. That's what people wanted.
So you can't. So
5
they
years
they
ago
made
when
an
they started making
excellent
it.
Expansion. They made an excellent expansion for Warcraft. Is what they made.
Yeah, essentially.
As yeah. Okay,
if
great.
we're
That's their
talking-
flagship. An expansion.
Yeah. Well, if we're
World
talking...
of Warcraft.
They don't make that
Stars
many
at War.
games. You're aware they don't make that many games, right? They're not pumping
Yes,
one out
just
every
like,
year.
Because it's easy to compare, I can say, just like Blizzard doesn't make a lot of games. They have 3 franchises. BioWare, that's sort of they have only so many. And to say that Dragon Age isn't one of their big ones, the first one was an amazing game, and they released the second one, and it was garbage. To say that was like a blip is inaccurate.
But it is it
Inaccurate.
is a blip in the sense that it is the only
because
game...
everyone forgot it because it was such
it's
a
the
shitty
only
game.
game in the
fell
past
off the
X
radar.
number of years that came out from them that has actually been bad. Like, what other game have they released that's been straight up bad in the last 10 years? Don't even say Sonic
don't
Chronicles,
even
because
have to
even
go
that
back.
was reasonable. Even that was reasonable.
But I'm
Let's see what they released. So we got Mass Effect 3 this year. Old Republic last
have a
year,
list
along
in
with
front of
Dragon
you?
Age
Do you
2.
have a list
Yes,
in
I
front of
do. Dragon
Okay,
Age
go down the
Origins
list, go down the
Awakening
list, go down the list.
expansion, great. Mass Effect 2.
Hold on, no, go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
You-
If you want my opinion,
You know,
gotta-
if you were
gotta-
listening, it would have helped. All right, Mass Effect
Go,
3,
go.
good game, supposedly, apart from the ending. So I've been
Good
told.
game. Good game.
Yep.
Good game.
Old Republic, good WoW clone.
Yeah, so.
Good WoW clone.
So.
It's an MMO.
So.
It's an MMO. Dragon Age
So.
2 sucks.
It was a letdown.
Okay, Dragon Age 2 bad. I
Dragon
accept
Age
that.
2
I
garbage.
hated it. Dragon Age Origins Awakening, good expansion.
Good.
Mass
good,
Effect 2, astonishing. Dragon Age Origins,
yes.
astonishing. Mass Effect,
Good.
astonishing. Sonic
Good.
Chronicles, not bad. Pretty good for a handheld game. It's a handheld game. What are you gonna do? Then you got Jade Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate 2, MDK 2.
Whoa.
Are you
whoa,
seriously
pause,
telling me?
Who?
Neverwinter
made
Nights-
of the Old Republic 2?
I love Obsidian made
Was
it.
that not them?
I love the fact that people are shouting at me Neverwinter Nights 2, made by Obsidian noobs. You don't know anything. Neverwinter Nights 2 and KOTOR 2 were made by Obsidian. They were not made by
Well, no wonder
BioWare.
they're garbage. All right, never mind. See, my impression of them comes from stuff like that. Like KOTOR 2, garbage. Just garbage.
Well, I disagree,
And-
actually. I think KOTOR 2 was actually a better game,
Oh,
aside from the fact that it
and
was
Jade-
buggy as hell.
I'm almost willing to
Jade
say,
Empire
I'm
was
almost willing to say
awesome.
Jade Empire was a waste of time too. I'm
No,
almost willing
Jade
to say
Empire is great. Awesome game.
You would be
Brilliant
alone
concept.
if you said that.
Yeah, exactly. Davis is on my side, obviously.
Sorry.
What a great
Sorry,
concept.
I did not.
Awesome concept for an
it was a great
RPG.
concept.
Never been done before. Worked really well. I
It was
I
good.
love
I
Jade
thought it was-
Empire.
Carried. It was poorly executed. I thought it was a good idea. Story was good. I didn't like the rest of it.
I think it was fantastically executed. I really do, and a great theme for it. Awesome story.
Aren't we discussing right now whether or not things are being executed correctly, though? Regardless.
I'm not sure what we were discussing. How the hell did we get here? Right, it was,
what?
Damn it,
what
Dodger, keep
happened?
us on track.
no, it was
hell
Wrath of Heroes. It was
I was
Wrath of
having so
Heroes.
much fun just listening to you guys bitching at each other. I'm sorry.
It was
I'm
Wrath
back,
of Heroes that we were talking
I'm
about.
back
But
in the game.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, Wrath of Heroes is essentially made by Mythic. Yeah, they kind of merged the names of the studios, but that didn't really do anything. You know, it's BioWare Mythic. Not that that really means anything. It's the same as how apparently BioWare are making Command and Conquer Generals 2. It's not actually BioWare. It's Bio.
Them, yeah.
Yeah, it's BioWare. It's some other studio with the BioWare name on it. So it's, again, you know, you can say all you like about BioWare, and they have made some really terrible mistakes in terms of Mass Effect, in terms of Dragon Age 2, and in terms of the way they handled Mass Effect 3. But you can't say that they've made bad games, because really they haven't. You know, I'd say that they are almost on the level of Blizzard for the most part in putting out really high quality games, and they have slipped up lately, kind of like Blizzard has slipped up lately.
Right,
You know,
no, I was
there
gonna
are no
say, like,
infallible companies.
Even then, I mean, I'm guilty of being like the whole, like, it's BioWare, it's gonna be awesome, or it's Blizzard, you know it's gonna be good.
Mhm.
But even then, you know, mistakes have been made based on this, let's be honest, and you can no longer say, like, those are the companies who are just gonna be like, they'll make the best choices for the gamers.
Oh yeah, there's no
you know, it's
question
all-
about that. I mean,
Horribly corporate now.
you know,
Yeah.
Blizzard's got loads of problems, and BioWare's got loads of problems. You can probably say Valve would if they released a game anytime in the next 20 years. You know,
Zing!
they might. You never know. But yeah, if we talk about that too much, it's going to be depressing. We should probably get back onto what we've
We're
actually
just all
been
gonna
playing.
be crying.
Evidently, it's
please.
not been Mass Effect
Half-Life
3. Was it Dragon Age 2? Did Jesse play Dragon Age 2 recently and was upset about it, or is that where this came from?
No. I played Dragon Age 2 a long time.
Yeah,
I'm just on
so
a
did I.
weird kick. Like ever since I think I was indoctrinated when I was in Poland.
Okay.
I think I'm sort of like, yeah.
Basically,
I think I've been
you got
indoctrinated.
bombarded by Witcher 2 from all sides, and now you hate everything that's not Witcher 2.
Well, I think I hate everyone else's model of business, because CD Projekt may be my new favorite company. Not because they created Poland,
they're good.
which is the reason why.
Dude,
but
you drank their
honestly,
Kool-Aid.
You did. That sounds a
seriously,
bit-
I
I
think
can't
did.
blame
And
him,
I-
actually. Because I've had
Yeah,
really
I mean-
good relations with them in the past. They are a great company. Like, the fact that they run GOG alone is a good enough reason for me to say,
Yeah,
this is a
yeah.
great
Yeah,
company.
And I said, like, I have a GOG video I did, like everything coming out this week, but with The Witcher, the thing that really impressed me that I still think is the reason why they're one of my favorite companies is they honestly, truly are like, we made this stuff and then we added, 4 hours of new stuff
Yes.
and a bunch of other things for this enhanced edition. And
they've
if
done
you
it
already bought
twice
the game,
as well.
F it, just take it. Just take it for free. Yeah, there's new cutscenes, there's new characters, there's all this new stuff new everything, an arena system, all the stuff they developed for the game, and they're like, we're gonna put it on an Xbox. Well, like it's enticing for Xbox users, but if you already bought it for PC a year ago, F it, take it for free. And that's a chunk of a DLC. I mean, it's something
hours
like
of content.
So
2 gigs,
awesome.
Yeah.
and they're like, take it for free. And like the reason why is because we'd want people to do that for us. Like they're
That's
essentially
exactly what they told
game-
me too.
They're like,
Yeah.
we'd rather
Pretty
have.
much.
They're like the anti-Capcom.
That's exactly what they
Serious.
are. Yeah, no kidding. That's
I mean, if there's Kool-Aid to drink, I drank it. I was like, I love you guys. They were the nicest people in the world just because of that. And last year, I mean, I raved about it then. Like, Witcher 2 was one of my favorite games of the year. Just because it was like, it did not care if you played the first one, which was kind of awesome.
that was nice.
And it did not care. It was specifically, for us old men. Oh, the games and boobies. I mean, like seriously, it was honestly, it was like I know Dodger and Davis will agree. It's like Game of Thrones, the game, essentially, where it's
actually.
violent as hell. It's made for adults, and they do not compromise anything for like the kid down the block who wants to play it. Right? They don't care. They're like this. And that's what so, and I loved it.
It's one of very few adult games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There aren't that many.
And
When you actually
the-
think about it, how many adult games are there really? You could say, oh, well, this is obviously an adult game. It's like, well, no, because the way that it deals with adult themes is actually puerile. It deals with adult themes in the way that a teenager would deal with adult themes. So it's not an adult game. There are very few games
Right.
that I consider to be adult games. I think that Heavy Rain is probably a good example of one that I think does it, because
Agreed.
I think that
Great.
I think actually as a teenager you probably can't get the right emotions evoked out of that game. There's certain things that you need to understand in order to get the full range of emotion and out of the storytelling. So I think that Fahrenheit's maybe until it goes batshit crazy later on, but it's yeah, you get that for the most part. And then of course you got Witcher, but there aren't all that many adult games in reality.
No, I mean there's a lot of games that are titled for adults. I mean, you could say like Leisure Suit Larry was for adults, right? That was for teens who wanted
It's
to
for
see boobs. Let's be honest.
teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And like Mass Effect is definitely a game geared toward it's an adult game, right? You can like sleep with people, but reality, it's the teenager fantasy of adulthood. Really, is what it is.
Totally.
With Witcher, it's a mature game where it's just because there are like boobs and stuff in the game. Meanwhile, 90% of the rest of the game is like political intrigue and stuff like that. That if you're a kid, you're gonna be like, I don't even care about this stuff. Where are the next boobs and where do I get to kill?
Yeah, I mean, the comparison to Game of Thrones, I think, is so valid because the way that Witcher and Witcher 2 actually deals with nudity and sex and things like that is very similar to Game of Thrones, as in it's not even a thing. It's it's
not hyped up as like
they
boobs.
don't
Yeah,
focus on it. It's just it's there, and they don't bring attention to it. It's just happening, and that's actually kind of I don't know. I mean, I'd say the Game of Thrones is much better to say a show like Spartacus, for instance, where Spartacus very much hypes up. It's a very good series, but it very much hypes up the violence and the sex. It's full on adult because some of the stuff in there is actually pretty damn depraved for a television show.
Oh, can I just say for the record that the season
TV,
finale of
stars.
season 2 of Spartacus was maybe the best thing on TV this season. Holy
spoil it.
crap.
I watched it. It was
I will
great.
not spoil it.
It was great.
I did not see the series taking that turn. I was like, whoa! I was on the edge of my seat for a whole hour. I cannot say that about any other show. That show's really. I guess it's like a guy thing. Like it's, like I don't know very many like girly girls who would get into Spartacus, but like.
Are you serious? Most of the show is
There's a
bronzed,
lot of women in
oiled
that
up,
show.
mostly naked men.
Yeah, all right,
pretty much the entire
right.
time. Yes, they get into it.
90% of the show, 90% of the show is like naked dudes. There's a scene that still sort of scars me from season 1, where they're like,
dick?
bring the big one. I'm like, whoa, did not need to see that.
There's some pretty serious stuff in that. I mean, you see as much flaccid penis as you see breasts in that series, But and I wouldn't call that an adult series because even though it's, I don't know, it's a difficult split because you've got all of this stuff which is clearly adult. Do they deal with the subject matter in an adult way? You can argue yes because it might be a bit over dramatized, but it's still a depiction of Roman decadent society. And
Right, like
in that time period, it makes sense.
Yeah, the senators and the legates and all the guys who always show up to all the parties are just depraved as hell.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's sort of a weird, like, I mean, to them, like the characters on the screen, that's why they sell it so well. To them, it's completely normal, but to you, you're like, this is insane. And they don't hype it up to like, oh, look what they're doing on the screen. They make it seem like it's sort of, this is just how we roll. And I think that's kind of like the Witcher theme, and that I think that works with Game of Thrones as well, or pretty much any HBO, Showtime, Stars, whatever show. Besides, like,
that's why I love those guys. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
HBO in this country isn't really an option, but I buy a lot of box sets from HBO because they always give you great. The Game of Thrones Blu-ray set is astonishingly good in terms of
Amazing.
what
I need
it's
to
got.
buy Game of Thrones.
And I just got, actually just picked up that right there, Boardwalk Empire.
that's a
and
good show too.
so good.
That's a good show.
Incredibly good. And once again, good value. The stuff that they actually put on the Blu-rays with the whole enhanced versions and everything is fantastic.
And the reason why it's good, I think it all boils down to the fact that they don't pretend to. Like, the worst thing in the world is when you know that somewhere behind the camera or in the studio, someone is saying, you have to do it this way because we're trying to make it available to all audiences. I can safely say that CD Projekt does not give a damn if everyone plays this game. Like, they're like, this is our game. We're making it. If you don't play it, that's your thing. But trust me, you'll love it if you do play it. And that's I mean, that's the kind of thing with like for example, in the Hunger Games, how do we get back on fucking movies? In the Hunger Games, the reason why I hated that, like the movie was like, you know, it was okay. But the reason why I hated it is because it took that like battle royale feel kind of thing, and was like, oh yeah, we're gonna show an amazing battle scene where they're fighting. TB just switched on me. He's like,
Hey, TV.
I started to flip it around so people can actually read stuff. You know, that would make more sense. There we go.
There's a giant battle halfway through the movie. Battle, I like fight, but it's all shaky cam and you don't see a thing, and so everyone can see it.
Terrible.
And it took me out of the movie completely. I did not give a crap after
that. The irony being, by the way, that those books were written as children's books, and they were actually they were very much marketed towards teenagers.
The books are more violent than the movie.
Well, of course they are.
I just want to point that out.
Game of Thrones books are more violent than the HBO show. That's just fact.
Right.
I feel like it's games, a lot of times, fantasy style games are the ones that get run under the bus a lot in terms of like, this is how we want to make this game. And they say, well, it's fantasy though, so teenagers are really going to want to play this. So how do we make it like applicable to them? How do we make them interested in it? And it's like, no, don't sacrifice like part of the storyline and part of the plot. You know, it's
like how
it is frustrating.
Dragon Age claimed to be a dark fantasy, but then again, you put your marketing materials out to Marilyn Manson, and you're probably not appealing to the adult demographic there. So,
right? Yes.
And it did have some stuff in there that was like, okay, you know, this is fairly grim and stuff, but adult, you know, racism against elves and stuff like that, they bigged that up as like, dude, this is a big, serious adult theme. It's like, nah.
Right.
The political situation with the dwarves in Dragon Age Origins, that was pretty good, you know, but there are a bunch of other things in that game that really do not do the whole adult thing well. And gaming in general just doesn't do adult well. Witcher 2 is one of the best examples lately of a game that has nailed that down. And I think that you can say that without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I think Witcher 2 and Dragon Age 2 came out roughly the same time, if I remember correctly. And I remember there was a lot of comparison. There was a lot of comparison between the two, and it was kind of like people were saying like they're both really adult games. But having played both, it's safe to say Witcher 2 is a game made for people who are mature and can handle violence and really messed up stuff, like really messed up situations. And then having to make a choice between, you know, you have to pick either a complete horrible racist of a person to join or a guy who wants to pretty much destroy the world. I mean, your choices are horrible.
I would pick the racist.
All right. Thank you for that.
Good to know,
I'm not
Davis.
talking enough. I'm trying to say so. I've played neither of these games. I'm trying to.
Yeah, just like you're sitting there for 20 minutes. The first thing he says is, "I would pick the racist."
I pick the racist.
I pick the racist.
That sounds that's accurate though. That's an accurate statement. you don't know him. You don't know him. He's a horrible person. But and then Dragon Age is a game where it's.
That's how I was raised.
I mean, Dragon Age is a game that is essentially made for teens with things thrown in to make it seem more edgy than it actually was.
Yeah,
Like,
without question.
the first game was a lot more edgier, and there was a lot less of what they, of the, oh, look what we did, it's so crazy, right? I mean, Dragon Age was it was a fantasy game, and there was a lot more in that game that was a lot more, I guess, adult than Dragon Age 2. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not.
But,
I can't say that I've played enough of Dragon Age 2 to really make that judgment. I think that it did some things right. I mean, Kirkwall is a really nasty place, as are the various copycat caves around the area. They were particularly nasty, but Kirkwall was pretty unpleasant.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty unpleasant. I mean, it's basically a place built on slavery. It's fairly grim when you look at it. I mean, hell, even as you're going out on the boat, you see that you've got the statues at the side of the bent-back sort of slaves who are essentially very upset about the whole affair. You can hardly blame that. But
Naturally.
But I mean, I think that they, as you said, they both really don't strike that tone well. Witcher 2 does. The original Witcher did as well. When it comes down to moral choices, BioWare is very bad at it, whereas CD Projekt are almost too good at it to the point where there's never a good choice.
It kind of sucks.
At some point, you'd like, it's like, why can't I make a good choice? Why can't I just like, all right, I've got to choose between bad and also bad in a different way. Well, that's wonderful. But BioWare it's too blatant with BioWare most of the time.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved is that CD Projekt basically I think they're insane for this because I know UTB don't even do this. They read like every ounce of feedback.
Oh Jesus
right?
Christ, why?
And so they listen to what people say, and a lot of people said Act 3 of the game was too short, which it was, and there was a lot of loose ends. So with the enhanced edition, they went back and wrapped up every storyline in the game, even the ones that were clearly meant for like a third game. They went in and like dealt with them in some way so you would know more. And now it's kind of like before, where it was you do something in Act 1, it may come back to affect you later. Now it's like you did something, you're gonna pay the price for it, no matter what it is. And it's like, son of a bitch. Like there's
so
no
awesome.
It is great.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Love it.
So
yeah. I want to just try and take a week off to actually play it because I only got about an hour into that game because I simply didn't have the time. I loved everything that I saw of it, but now with the enhanced edition, all the patches, I want to be able to just sit down and play it, and it might be the thing that I just take time out to do and get through the entire game because it does look absolutely incredible, and I want to get my teeth into it. I really do, and it's challenging as well.
Do you need to play the first one?
No, you don't. They actually did a video. They did a video that gives you an overview of the first game in about 6 minutes. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What they did is originally it was if you didn't play the first game, they sort of revealed plot points as you went through the second game, right? But they didn't like explain what happened. It sort of took place right after, like maybe a month or so after the first game.
Yeah, it did.
And then this time they went back in and they added cutscenes, not only like extra ones you can watch. They're not in the game, but they're extra ones that explain what the story is and stuff. But then in between the chapters now, they have like, instead of staring at a load screen, they have like a cutscene that is explaining stuff in the world. So things that were a lot, you had to actually really focus on now are easily explained, and so it's a lot easier to get into.
Yep.
And I mean, it looks great.
Do they link?
The
games
new
link
cinematic?
like Mass Effect?
You can load a file in,
you
can't
can load in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can load your file in.
Because you said there are choices in it, so you
Oh,
can like
yes.
load in
Yeah,
your choices. Oh, well, then I have to
Mhm.
play the
So,
first one.
yeah. So and they have an enhanced edition. I think they just released the enhanced edition on Mac too. Like,
Yeah.
this week.
If you'd want that, but
What
I
do
mean,
you-
the enhanced
Of the
edition's been
first
out for
game.
years. That was one of the
For you
first.
Mac
Yeah.
gamers out there.
Yes, all of the Mac gamers.
Mac
But
games.
they released the enhanced patch for that years ago, and actually that patch was to address specifically the fact that the original release of Witcher had a very bad set of voice acting. Like, it was not good at all. And the enhanced edition patch is about 5 gigs as a result
It's
of
all
redoing
Jesse.
it all.
Every voice in the game is Jesse.
Actually, if it was, I would go as far as to say it would have been better.
I am the Witcher. Right, that's his voice.
No! Stop
If
ruining
there was
Geralt.
such a thing,
Seems
I would
legit.
play.
That
I would
seems
play
like a
through the
legitimate
game
thing.
if I could have you do every voice.
I'm saying thank you because I did actually talk to the CEO of CD Projekt, and I may or may not end up doing voices. So
Mm.
Really?
That could be in
So
a thing.
he's
That's true.
that's why he's drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, I can see it. I know what's going on.
No,
here.
no.
He's after a job.
You
A real job.
You know,
Been in that-
I think everyone here knows this business. That's
Yes,
one
we
of those.
do.
Oh yeah, in the future you can do something. I'll never hear from them
No,
again.
no, you won't.
They're not answering
I'll
my
never talk to
texts.
them again. Trust me.
You've
We all
been
know how it
friend
works.
zoned
No.
by CD Projekt. That's
Yeah,
pretty grim, bro. It's pretty grim.
I am used to that. Don't worry.
I'm surprised that
So,
people can
I
even
mean-
tolerate you in the friend zone.
Oh, they don't. Friend zone is a
I can
wide
send you-
zone.
I can send you a great
Wide
Maxim
zone.
article about how to get out of the friend zone if you need that.
Yeah,
I don't need
Maxim,
to.
truly the
Good.
place to look for relationship advice.
Apparently, I signed up for their newsletter somewhere.
How the hell did you manage that?
Their new-
I don't-
Whoa.
They have a
Maxim
newsletter?
has a newsletter? They have a news. Like, hold on. When you're not staring at the pictures of hot women in our articles or looking like how to get a six pack, we can tell you, how to get out of the friend zone in our news articles.
Some of us,
Maxim is
some
a
of us
joke.
read it for the content.
Maxim
I
is a
don't, you know,
joke.
Yeah, the content, it's Maxim for God's sake. They can't write a good
There are
article.
some
Like,
great-
it's like,
there are
look,
some
I
great
can
articles.
accept
Max-
people
Maxim,
that read Playboy
Max
for the
is-
content because they actually have some reasonable writers. But Maxim, really? Are you 12?
Playboy does
Come on.
look
it's not
Seriously,
Playgirl
Maxim is
level
G
of content,
for
but it's still
people.
Did
pretty.
you just say it's
pretty-
not Playgirl level of content? What are you
I'm
hiding?
making, I just want to point out I'm making it up. I'm not.
Playgirl.
Tell us
Now
more
that
of
we're
your
going there, I gotta
experience
say-
of Playgirl magazine,
Yeah, David.
Davis. Dear God.
If I get Playboy, I get distracted by the pictures. If I get Playgirl, there's no chance. I'm just like, ooh, article.
No, you're not. Don't even lie. It's on the coffee table.
lie.
It's on the
Don't-
You're like, oh, that's tasteful. That's tasteful.
Oh dear. Before we
I'm-
This is
continue,
about games,
did
right?
anyone actually
This
play
podcast
any
is about
games
games,
this
right?
week? I'm even trying to think if I played anything that
Skullgirls.
was. Yeah, we talked about Skullgirls. Yeah,
Uh,
we've done the Skullgirls thing.
Assure's
Skullgirls.
Wrath.
What?
Assure's Wrath.
Oh, you played
Oh
Asura's
my
Wrath?
God.
Yes, I've played about
what-
half of it so far.
One of the dudes at TGS gave me a copy.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, if I had a Hopajaj or whatever that damn thing is that can record off TVs, I would be recording this
Oh,
because it is.
I'm already doing that
a
essentially.
A hopigaji, a
I-
hoopa juju,
Yeah,
a
Oh,
haba
some of
jabba.
those.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
I have
Yeah,
the PS3 version. Oh my god, is this game the greatest thing ever? In the first few minutes of this game, I can't explain to you. You're flying through
I
space,
can,
fighting
'cause I've
giant
streamed
monsters
this.
coming out of the earth. Weird. It makes no sense. And TV was right. There's a scene where I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. There's a scene where you meet your master. You sit in a hot tub, like drinking. And there's a mini game where you have to stare at chicks' breasts. Like that's the mini game. And then when you finally
Really?
achieve victory, your master punches you in the face, and then you fight on the moon. 'Cause that's the thing. And then during the
That
fight on
makes
the moon,
logical
your
sense.
master's sword extends, like it elongates, and you like it gets so big that as he pile drives you through the earth, the sword comes out the other end. It
Yeah.
is fucking
That's
amazing.
Asura's
The
Wrath.
sword goes in one end of the earth and out the other. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's
Sounds
the
awesome.
greatest
For
game
those
ever
who
made,
don't
by
know, incidentally, Asura's Wrath is essentially an interactive anime. It's a lot of quick time events. It does have it's got kind of a Panzer Dragoon sort of
Yeah.
mechanic where you're flying through, you drag your lasers, blah blah blah, and there's kind of an action game which is a bit of a spectacle fighter. It's not particularly full on in terms of its mechanics, but that game is about the spectacle. It's about the actual story itself, and it's even presented like an anime. It's even got the anime style breaks.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in episodes, and they've got breaks in the
like
middle
next
of the episode. Like, there'll be a little splash screen, and then another splash screen, and then straight back to where you were
And like
in
a
the first
voice
place.
actress comes on to
Yes.
explain what happened in the last episode, even though
Yes.
you just played 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
Well, the
Yes.
annoying thing about that is actually that they start every episode with a preview of what's going to happen in it, and it's a complete spoiler. So I skip it every time. So
Oh no!
I was
why
hoping you were
would
gonna
they
say
do
that it starts with a J-pop intro.
Oh,
would
that would
it
be
is
better.
so amazing.
yeah,
I mean, the
Or
characters
Restless
are-
Lightness style, where it's actually nothing that has anything to do with what you're about to play.
it's
The
I mean,
next
it's
exciting episode of
amazing.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's well worth an experience. The problem with it is that it is essentially a 6-hour game that has very little replay value, and apparently there's been a controversy because Capcom have released a true ending as a DLC. I don't know.
No!
The problem is that the people that I've heard that have beaten it have said that actually the game ends just fine. but
Yeah,
they've
no,
added
the
additional
ga- the-
episodes on it. Have you beaten it, Jesse?
Yeah, the game. Yes, I have.
Does the game end fine?
Ends. It's. I don't know if I have the DLC. I don't know if I got it automatically, like it downloaded automatically. So I'm not aware of like any DLC with it. But I can tell you now that
It doesn't download automatically.
there-
It costs money.
there's multiple endings, and it involved like the first ending I got because I had to play through it again. The first ending I got was like it ended on, and you'll be aware of this. It has like a text instead of like an actual scene. It was text with insert spoiler explaining stuff, and that was the ending. It was like maybe there's another story to tell. So it was one of those cheesy, 1999
because
video
you didn't
game
get
endings.
the true ending because you suck too much
Gotcha.
at it,
Right.
basically.
And so then I played it again, and I got a different ending, but it wasn't a true ending. It was like a different. So I don't know what they're talking about true ending, but if there's a cut scene or something, I have not seen it.
Right.
Every time I
Well-
play, it ends on like a text ending, like maybe you could have done something differently. Like
Well,
what?
The best ending, I'm told, you need to do like 6 of the episodes as like S rank, I think, gets you the best ending, if I recall correctly. So
That's never gonna happen.
right, that's probably why I haven't seen it.
So if
Then.
you could get on that, Jesse, if you could work faster, that would
Well,
be
I mean,
try.
I could
I
probably
will
do it. And I'm about probably 4 hours away from the end of that game. I could probably just do it tomorrow, and I've already got success
It's
ranks,
so fun.
it is
it's-
very much fun if you can accept the fact that it is an interactive anime and it's not
Right.
a game per se.
If you have friends over,
right.
and like this is one of the few single player games that I recommend playing with other people. Like it's the kind of game
That's why I
that
streamed it.
You
Yeah, because you want
yeah,
other
like,
people
you
to
find
see
yourself
this
cracking
crazy
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually what Giant
Yeah.
Bomb was saying. That they always had people that when the guy was playing the game, people would always be looking in to see if there was some crazy thing happening.
There
Yeah.
always is. It's never
It's-
not crazy.
One of the first boss fights, you fight a finger that's the size of a
Yeah, it's a-
planet.
A
But
man,
this guy is
a-
so big,
a guy grows
that-
like
yeah.
yeah.
and then tries to basically poke you. The finger goes through the
He
atmosphere,
tries
is
to
on
finger
fire.
you to death.
Yes, he tries
And
to
then-
finger you to death. Yes, that's exactly what he does.
And then, in order to defeat it, your hands blow off. By the way, your arms
Yes, your arms
explode
explode.
in defeating it. And then the next boss you fight with no hands.
Yeah.
You kick the shit out of a dude,
What?
and you have no arms. Your arms are missing,
Yeah.
and you fight a dude.
Yeah,
It's
it's brilliant.
an amazing game.
That
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, the only problem with it is like value for money wise, it's probably not
Right,
worth
it's
$60
kinda
that
not
they
worth
charge
it,
for it.
but-
But it is like it's
Gamefly.
full on. Yeah, Gamefly, rent it. It's definitely a rental game without question, or it's a wait for this to get cheaper game. Incidentally, I'd like to point out that as a result of this podcast, we are now the second highest ranked game on Twitch TV. We are actually killing esports. We've got more viewers than StarCraft 2 currently has on the entire network. And I may or may
How?
not have registered the game that we are playing under Twitch TV as Barbie and the Three Musketeers. So we're going to screenshot that,
Good.
and that is going to go on. I think that we'll probably post that on Team Liquid. That sounds like a good idea. We can kill esports today. That sounds
Davis
good.
seems like
Well, guys,
okay.
you're
He's-
welcome
we're
for
Oh
talking
god!
about he's like
Oh god! Oh
Like-
god! Sorry, I accidentally moved the camera windows. It's all right. I can fix it. It's fixed. It's okay. Don't worry. It's like I'm still getting used to the whole 2-monitor thing. It still scares me a lot. It's like I'm breaking everything.
Oh, I just saw it on the live stream.
I know,
Wow.
me too.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Ooh, that was bright.
Yeah, there it goes. It's like that. There is the wonders of paint. Decided to go onto my second monitor and not my first, but there you go. Oh well, never mind. So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I've actually played this week? I've been playing very little, if I'm totally honest. I haven't really had the time. I played. Actually, I will say one thing I did play. I played Sins of Solar Empire Rebellion. The beta for that is currently running. It's a stand.
that?
What is that?
So, Sins of a Solar Empire came out a few years ago, and it was a real-time strategy with it claimed to be kind of a 4X, yeah? And by 4X, they mean... Oh, can I remember the 4 things? Explore, exploit, exterminate... What's the other one? I can't sodding remember. Expand, yeah. Explore, expand, exploit, exterminate.
Oh, but with an X because they're
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
yeah,
gotcha.
4X. 4X strategy is like, that's like 20 years old. Civilization was a 4X strategy. Master of Orion was a 4X strategy. This
Right.
it has 4X elements in it, but when they first released the game, it was pretty basic. But they released 2 expansions, and now they've got this standalone expansion that incorporates the other 2. And it's actually now pretty good. They've got a lot of different stuff going actually in it, and it plays like a mixture of Master of Orion and kind of Supreme Commander, I guess, because you're building very, very large fleets of ships. And you can also build, in this expansion, you've got something called Titans, and these things are massive. They gain levels.
How is the space combat, though? I mean, is it... my experience with space combat is, in games like that, it's like an entire different... Like, you go to the combat menu screen.
No, definitely
and then
not.
It's like
No, it's all
okay.
done in the same game because it's real-time. It's essentially a real-time strategy with a 4x kind of overlay. So if I gather my fleet in like a control group, just like I would in an RTS, and I just kind of roll my mouse wheel, it'll zoom out to see more of the galaxy, and then it's like, go to this planet, and go fight there. And then you can zoom all the way into the battle, and all the way out, like Supreme Commander. And the problem I've got with the combat in it is that it's always been really static. It's like who has the biggest and best composed fleet? There's not really a lot of room for micro and control. You just kind of warp your fleet in, and then they fight. Yeah, you can move.
So it's like Civilization.
Well, not sort of, yeah. But I mean, you've got full
like
control. It's just there's not really a lot of point in using that full control because you don't benefit from it. So, actual control of battles like, say, StarCraft, it just doesn't really happen. So it's kind of like blob versus blob, and who has the biggest blob with the most upgrades, and so on and so forth.
The biggest blob.
Gotcha.
I've got the biggest blob.
No, you don't.
Are you saying you're fat?
No, I thought we were... Never mind.
We're having a blob off?
And another game I've never played.
I've got the biggest blob.
I've got the
What did you play this? What did you do this week, Davis?
Yeah, what do you play?
Oh, are we doing new games or just games in general?
Games in general.
What did you as a human being do this week?
Okay, well, Skullgirls. I started playing Tor again because of update 1.2.
That's
Marvel
apparently a
3
big.
on my...
I actually like to hear about Tor, incidentally. And what have you played in the new update? Because apparently it's like a pretty major update, right?
How much? Yeah, it's a big content one. Oops, wrong button. How much Tor have you played?
I got to like level 25 until I ran out of time and just couldn't get around to playing any more of it.
Okay, well, I loved the story elements of it, and I played it to max level, and then it was Endgame that kind of turned me off to it. Like PvP, it was a little bit. The Sith on my server, the Sith just raped. Like, just they all had battle masters.
Unlimited
they all like.
power.
So I would do the best that I could, and then the raids weren't that much fun. They were really buggy. They had like treasure chests that wouldn't give you your loot, and no matter how much I bugged BioWare with screenshots and stuff, they're like, I'm sorry.
That was like Ilium, wasn't it, or something like that constantly bugged out, if I recall correctly.
Well, I mean that was the big open world PvP area, which was a whole hack job.
What was the name of that? The Eternity Vault. The Eternity Vault has a thing where you have to like do a puzzle, and there's a chest. And the chest would just never open.
And the event after that is they have like it's a whole other thing that ends with chest. Same thing, just wouldn't give you loot, and they'd have random deaths. Like you would just be going, and people would just start dying in your raid. Like you could just be walking, you could be in the middle of a fight. I have no idea what it did. It made it really frustrating. So then I was like, all right,
the problem was it was really like the Eternity Vault. The whatever the palace was with the hut thing, that was okay. But the Eternity Vault had some really creative, fun boss battles that were like the last one is something you'd expect from a Star Wars game. Like it's an alien with superpowers who was locked away, who has the power to destroy the universe, and is just like throwing platforms around, and you have to jump around. I mean, they took the whole boss raid battle to a new level with that one. The problem is that it was really easy to start. Like, I mean,
don't they have three difficulty modes? Like, I heard that they had like normal, heroic, and nightmare. Don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't know how it works. The guild scaling loot and stuff.
Yeah, the guild that I created, it was like me and friends and like fans, and we had 3 groups running, I think, and they all 3 plowed through it and were on to the like legendary, whatever the heroic level is called, and just beating the crap out of it. And I think that's what turned a lot of people off, is because people went to that game for new experience other than WoW.
Well,
and they
made
got
a mistake there, didn't
WoW style rating. Yeah. And I think
like they never claimed to be anything else, though. Like everything they showed of the raid, they've been showing raids for like 8 months before the game went live, and it was blindingly obvious it was World of Warcraft through and through. You got to understand this. This game started development like 5 years ago, Of course they based it around WoW. That's what everyone wanted. You know, and obviously they wanted to hear as well because people went to play it in large numbers.
Right. I mean, it's probably because WoW's been out so long and people have played it for so long. It's there and they, people like it, but they want something new so badly that they gravitated to Star Wars. Like, this is our savior. This is what will do it.
Yeah,
and it won't. And I think the problem that I have with, Guild Wars 2 is that everyone's doing the exact same thing. And I am just waiting for the backlash. Because Guild Wars 2, let's be honest, that's
it's
a
not
PvP
the same game, though. Yeah, it is a PvP game. Yeah,
and all these people are looking for story. Yeah, but people are looking for story and questing stuff. Sure, it's innovative, but Guild Wars 2 is PvP based. I mean, that's what it is. And I guarantee, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Even though people are like, "Oh, WoW sucks," oh my god, it's still the best thing out there right now. If you're talking MMOs, it's the best one. Love it or leave it. I mean, that's what you got.
I'm just going to put it out there and say DDO is better. What I actually played of that game, I really loved, and I actually need to get time to play it again.
You can't say what I played
DDO
of
is
that
pretty
game
awesome.
and not have end game experience.
Of course I can.
Like that. That's when people ask me about Star Wars or anything else. Like, you and I remember talking at level 25.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Star Wars is the best effing game I've ever played, but I can't make a final comment until I get to end game.
Same.
Yeah.
Because you can't. And if you're doing MMOs, end game's where the game starts.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's nothing there, then it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is
luckily Star Wars
and the best
has
part of it
great
is
storytelling.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
I mean,
true.
the best part of the game is the story.
This is actually the risk, by the way, with Guild Wars 2, that the best part of that might not be the end game, because the end game for Guild Wars 2 at the moment it's not fleshed out.
PvP.
Yeah, it's PvP. It's got some PvE, mostly 5-mans. The raiding is these big scaling world bosses that you can't really arrange to do because you don't know when they're happening. So I think it will disappoint a lot of people in that regard. But you've also got to bear in mind their business model actually doesn't care whether there's an end game or not, because they don't need to keep people subbed.
Once you pay for it once.
Yeah, that's it done. So an end game isn't really relevant for a game like that. So I think that maybe they get away with it on that basis. Once again, I'm not really sure how we got to this point, but I think we were talking about Tor.
Oh, we were talking about Tor.
Yeah, we
and
were.
1.2.
Yeah, I mean, what improvements have you seen in 1.2?
They added a bunch of stuff. New raids, new flashpoints, new war zones. They added the legacy system, which they have teased forever, and you could level up the legacy thing, but then it wasn't out there. Now you can make family members to your other characters, and you can get special abilities from other classes on whatever character you want, but they don't work in raiding or PvP. It's just for leveling up, which it's kind of cool, but I don't know. I think
it's essentially like heirloom items in WoW, then just done slightly differently.
They
have those. They have those too.
Oh, they've got those as well. Okay.
The
kind
great
of,
thing
they
is,
don't scale with you. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. What's cool about it is in your legacy sort of menu, you have every time you max out a companion, you get 5%. You get 5% faster growth in other companions. I think it's something like that across your entire family. If you for example, if you have a special buff for your class, everyone in your family now has access to that buff. So your fourth character is gonna be like a super powered beast, basically.
But only in the leveling process, not in.
But let's be honest, and I think you'll agree with this. The only reason why I even play the game now is to see the other stories. I play other characters to see what's happening on the Republic side. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to play. Endgame is okay, right? I have no interest in Endgame. And when it comes to the actual guilds and ratings, so many people have left. I mean, that's just visually. I can't, confirm or deny that.
Yeah.
But on my server, so many people are gone that, getting anything together is sort of impossible. So you're basically playing a single-player game. But I don't care because the single-player storyline is so good that it really doesn't matter. The stories and characters are terrific. And so thumbs up on that end. I think they did a great job with that.
The problem is that when you try to play through another, I've started to level up a Sentinel, the class story of it is great, but then I'm still replaying through the same stories. Every fourth quest is a class one, so it's oh man, but you're also well, fuck balls, I've already done this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's why I did. That's why I'm trying to do a Republic and Empire, just so I can see both sides of the story.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I probably if I had the time.
Come over to my server. I'll play with you.
What server are you on?
Oh, I don't remember.
Say
Are you sure you
Destromath?
want to admit?
Oh, wait, no, that's my WoW
That's
server.
WoW. It's
No.
like Destromath.
Yeah.
now they know
Um,
that.
I'm
so-
on Illidan,
good.
Empire side. What?
I can't remember what server I play on, but yeah. I don't know. Oh,
okay,
but
Sugar
anyways, so
Plum.
more about it.
I can't
So
remember
all
the name
I've
of my
really done,
character.
because I've
I
only
ran
played it for like a
generated
day, is PvP, and they made it a little better. There's not like a Valor rank requirement for Battlemaster anymore. It's now just with Warzone commendations, and they took out the rewards for the Ilum stuff. I don't know, and the Republic's winning a lot now, which I won 7 of 8 games. That was really nice. But it's still, I still am like, okay, well, there's no arena yet. They talked about having rated war zones, but they're not there yet. So it's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe this is not the right time for me to come back, because I just like PvP is kind of like my thing. So, but from the sounds of it,
Well,
all of
that's-
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 will probably be your thing. And Guild Wars 2, from what I've seen, by the way, open beta 29th, 27th
Yes.
this month.
Yeah,
27th,
open-
29th.
Yeah.
27th open beta weekend
Excited.
for those that
I'm so
pre-order.
excited.
for that.
Some of us who don't have contacts within, Guild
Aw.
Wars TB. Some of us haven't got a chance
Tear
to
it
play
up.
it yet, so
Tear
we're
it up
really
so
excited.
hard.
You got contacts, bro?
Of course.
TB is built of contacts.
Dem
He's
contact?
he's built of. His arms are like Jack's arms, except made of business cards.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I essentially have my Rolodex
glad-
tattooed on my
I'm glad-
arms. Yeah. That's just how it
He's,
is.
he's a Rolodex machine. He's filled with contacts. Yeah, he's got people everywhere. Watch out. TB's web I'm not sure if you're aware. He's web famous.
I'm sure one of my fellow Warp Zoners is really a spy for TB.
Probably.
Possibly.
He actually knows everything about
He's
you.
like Saruman.
Okay,
He has
that's just
spies
scary.
everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
probably just a big stalker. That's also a
He's like a
possibility.
stalker.
Once again, we go back to the
And he's-
Occam's razor issue here. It's,
They're all androids. You're all androids.
right.
That's the
I think that
spoiler.
about covers
And
it. This
tell
is
me
a
now.
great time to go to a break. A fantastic time to go to a break. When we come back, we'll be covering news and looking at some of the latest trailers. You're currently watching the Game Station Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Station Podcast.
Yay!
We're all still
Yay.
here.
Hi.
That's always
Oh,
good.
we're supposed to say something. Hi.
Barely. I feel like we all came back
so.
with like very little time left.
We're talking news,
I
folks. News.
Sure, you never.
News. There's
News.
actually a surprising lack of it, as it turns out.
There's
This.
not too much going
I have,
on.
No,
I have
there really
some
isn't.
news.
Okay.
I have some news.
Go. Do tell.
A fan named
Okay.
Lucas sent me bacon snacks. They're
How are they?
they're made by Krusty Croc,
I don't trust that.
and
Crust.
Oh
They
god,
are-
even
they
have a
are-
lot.
No, not that stuff. Why would that even be there?
They are Den Sprode Cried
company.
Red Bacon Smag. They're bacon smag, and they look like bacon. They smell like bacon, and logic would say they taste like bacon. They do not taste like bacon. I just want you to look at
They
this.
don't.
Like that's
That looks bacony.
it. Look.
They look
It
like
looks like
pork rinds.
it looks like a giant cinnamon toast crunch piece, right? Like just look. It's giant cinnamon toast crunch. I figure I'll just sit here. Just continue talking. I'm just gonna.
Can you see the taste?
Taste the
It
rainbow.
doesn't taste like
Taste
anything.
the
It tastes like styrofoam. It doesn't taste
Pork
like anything.
rinds. They're probably
That's a
pork
great
rinds.
endorsement.
That's my guess.
They don't really look like pork rinds, though. They look like kind
Look
of
at-
corn snacks with bacon
They're
flavor on them.
kinda puffed
They
up that way,
kind of
though.
are, yeah. They're made of Hevet Urspurstjaks made bacon smack.
Oh,
Ingredients.
of course.
Have it
How silly
milk?
of me.
Oh.
The ingredients are.
Of
The
course.
ingredients are. Hold on, let me put this on screen. The ingredients are
Mhm.
Hevet meal, intermiel, vegetable odges, salt. Salt is apparently international.
Who'd thought it?
Soccer, Maltodextrin is international. All these, there's like 15 different languages on the back of here. Yeah. There's aroma. What the hell is
Aroma? It's like we included a smell. That's great for the ingredients list, isn't it?
It's the bacon smell. It doesn't taste like. There's Hevet Meldel. There's paprika. Ooh, paprika's international too. There's Cool und Trockenlagern.
Oh, my favorite.
And then there is this one they have Kaiderstraße. All of these are basically I'm just be putting more of this in me.
more.
It tastes like death. You know what? I'm saving these. I'm bringing these over for Game of Thrones.
Oh dear.
Yes,
Please.
do it. You should.
How much plop do you have left if you work through all of it?
Are in Ukraine, I still
How
have
much
a ton.
plop? Here's the thing. I was sent not only just a giant case of it, like the last time we did podcast, I showed you that case, but then people keep sending me more. So now I have a pile of it. Down in the kitchen, I have a pile of it. I don't know what to do with it all. I can't just. I feel like I should just. I don't know. Have a day where I make a video where I try to attempt to eat it all and put it on YouTube. I feel like that's a million hits waiting to happen.
Do a bacon snack power hour.
Man, I really need to start promoting my PO box so I actually get this stuff. I want more plop.
Epic Nordic mealtime.
Yeah, send me plop.
All the crazy foods mixed together and a soup. And a soup of chocolate.
In a soup, chicken broth with all of these things.
That sounds
Dude,
like maybe the worst thing of all time.
Chicken block.
That sounds amazing.
Oh
my god, so good.
Oh, I know why I'm not getting anything. I actually buried my PO box information deep down on my YouTube description below the threshold.
You'll
No
have to change
wonder.
it.
I'm editing it right now so that my PO box is at the top with "Send me plop" written underneath
Send me
it.
plop, yes.
Yeah,
In all caps.
Send me plop.
I'm gonna get anthrax. It's gonna be anthrax. Nothing but bottles of anthrax.
I feel like this podcast. I feel like this podcast needs a shirt for fans to wear, and it has to involve plop somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why.
We'll get
It should just be
sued.
like
We can't do that.
Plop package, but instead of it saying plop, it'll just say TGS Podcast.
I'm
in the same
telling
font.
you, it needs to include. And it needs to include.
TGS
Look, I'll be
Plopcast.
honest with you. I'm gonna let you know
Okay.
now.
Plopcat.
I am going to make it my goal. I'm gonna make it my goal to get in touch with the plop people and reach out to them and say, plop people.
They're
can
probably in my
we
Rolodex
use
somewhere.
They probably in your Rolodex arms. Yeah, no, I'm telling you. That's my goal this week. I'm going to get in touch with them and be like, can we in any way use your logo? And we
It's
won't give
gonna
you
be
any
a
money.
no.
Well,
It's gonna be a no.
it'll probably have penises on it, but can we use it? Can we?
If anyone else
it'll
asks,
have.
they might say yes, but they
Talk
won't say
about
yes
it,
to Jesse.
please.
They'll be like, ew,
I'll ask.
no.
We'll both ask. We'll see if we get differing answers. I'll
We
include
will.
A
Let's
picture
be honest, we
of
will.
mine. It'll be great. It'll work out.
I'm sure it
Strangely
will.
enough, you have those, which is weird.
The Plopcast.
Why you have photos of that, I don't know, but I don't question anymore. Anyway,
All right.
TV.
Moving on. News, folks. It has been a surprisingly quiet week for a lot of people. Indeed, week and a half, or however long it's taken us to actually get a new podcast episode out. But I think probably the biggest news this week, really the only bit of news this week, was actually on the subject of Kickstarter and Wasteland 2. So the Wasteland 2 Kickstarter has finally ended, pulling in over $3 million, which is significantly
good.
more than the $900,000 they were asking for initially. So that is fairly impressive, especially considering that game came out in 1987. Like, that game came out when I was 3. And I did not.
I'm so
I did not
excited
play
to
it.
see what this game winds up being.
Yeah, very much so.
Because like the last one, because it came out so long ago, it was so different from how any games
yeah.
are now.
Yeah,
That I'm
It
like,
barely-
what would be
it's
an
barely a
advanced
game,
version of that
you know?
game?
I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, the way that game was
I
done,
want it to though.
I'd be very surprised if it was.
Is the original on GOG?
No, it's too old for GOG. This game it's 1987. This game is
It's
old,
like mostly
old.
text-based.
Yeah, it actually did have a graphical component to it, but the combat is kind of scrolling real-time text, and you've got
You
a
have, like,
static
pictures of
image.
things that you're attacking.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I am kind of excited. What would they make the new
I gotta
game
play that
like?
with my 3D
Right?
vision.
That's what I want to know. I don't want it to be like any other game because that's not. I mean, I think that's
It'll be
what
God of
people
War.
are willing to
Stop
put
it.
their
It'll
money
be a
forward.
first-person shooter.
No, don't
will
say
be.
that.
It
No.
will be.
take
Well,
a
did you
flip.
see the Wasteland video? Because the joke that they made doing that, they actually, in the middle of it,
Totally.
he ended up like at because they did a bunch of sketches, and he ended up in a restaurant with a publisher, and it's like, well, we have a few minor changes. It's like, well, we're going to change it to first-person shooter, and all that other good stuff. But I think obviously it's going to stick as closely as they can. But the thing is, like, that game was a lifetime away. That is a game for a previous
Right.
generation, to the point where even
Literally, I was born 87.
yeah, I was born 84. I didn't play Wasteland. Wasteland actually had a PG-13 rating on it when ratings were not done for computer games. So that, because it actually did have some violent stuff in it.
And you were 3, I'd be very impressed.
I actually did play a text game when I was 3. I played several of them in fact, as it happens.
I'm 25 almost, and I can't read. I don't-
just to think about how old it is. I mean, just in the game timeline, right? In the timeline of gaming. Think about this. In 2001 was Final Fantasy. No, 2000. 2000 was Final Fantasy 8, right? And think of the graphics there. Then you go back. I like how I can base my timeline of gaming on Final Fantasy games. 96, 95 was Final Fantasy 3. No, 94 maybe. And that was sprites. That was like beep boop beep boop. And then we're talking 87, right? I mean,
That's the
this
year
is-
I was
I mean,
born.
Mario
Long time ago.
original Super Mario Brothers is what? 89? And that's like what people today consider like bare bones basic gaming.
Yeah.
Like for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like that's like they consider that like plain like, oh, all you do is move and jump and then hit blocks. That's old, man. And that's
You
computer
have
too.
amazing
So
historical knowledge of gaming.
He's got
You're
Wikipedia
like,
up right
you're like
now.
the Deckard Cain of
no, I
So
don't.
it
Are
is.
you kidding me?
console gaming.
Strangely enough, this is kind of what I do for a living. You guys probably should read up on shit too. You know, because you do this.
I don't
I
study
won't. I'm
dates.
not
Oh,
going to.
why do you need all this information when all you do is blind LPs, Jesse? Tell me.
Because because someone has to run TGS.
No.
Might as well be you. Question
Might as well be me.
No.
I'm buying you my time.
I
Someone's
see
gotta
how it
take
is.
over.
Jesse is in
Mhm.
charge of TGS. Everybody, every decision.
Well,
No,
that
ever
explains
made.
No, I'm
everything.
not.
And they're all
I am
good.
not
They're all
responsible for
Jesse's.
anything.
Canon. That's canon. It's true.
I'm not
Oh.
responsible for anything that happens over there. I take credit for nothing, not even this podcast.
You ran it, man.
None of it.
amazing.
I have no responsibility. No. I'm waiting to take over. Then all will be is hot girls doing news reports. That's it. Every show will be a different hot girl reading news. That's new TGS.
I want to.
There's an entire channel that does nothing but that.
Like who would win the king of TGS?
Oh, never mind. If this
Like,
is this
When,
based on
when you
popularity?
play the Game of
This is
Thrones,
based
This
on
is based on-
popularity.
I
you win or you die.
I don't
That's
know.
like-
No, not popularity. I want to see you guys literally battle to the death. Like TB is like the king of the East. Yeah, the East. From us.
King of the East?
Like, I don't know.
You
I
can
have, like,
tell I'm
5
very
different
Asian, obviously.
As long as I can be king in the north, because
you're east
king
of
beyond the wall.
California.
I'm king beyond
King
the
of the
wall.
wall.
F it. I'm king beyond the wall. Beyond the wall. I'm in the frozen
You're-
north.
You're part of
There's
the
the
wildling.
I-
You're
fuck.
bringing all your daughters.
I love
Great.
that show a bit too much. I think I love that show too much.
I love the way
Yeah,
you
that's
said
me.
show and didn't say, I love those books very, very much. Ugh.
The books. Spoiler alert: the books are a hard read.
They actually
There's
are.
a
They're
lot
very
of
dense.
just flourish style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I've
like,
had
oh my
no-
god.
They are, yeah. I mean, I've read the first one and I had the same thing. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with video games. So, aside from the fact there is a Game of Thrones RPG coming out quite soon, which
It's gonna
I
be
think
bad.
probably is. I've got review code for that. I really should actually play it. But
Is that the MMO? that they-
no,
they
it's
take
a
picture
single
of?
player RPG.
No, it's an
It's not an MMO. They brought out one already
know-
called Game of Thrones Genesis, which was really not very good either. That was kind of a Total War style RTS. There's no point
on the Sega Genesis.
I
on
remember.
the Sega Genesis.
I remember looking at that game And to me, because I saw there was like pictures on Steam about it, to me it looked like they took a game that already existed and said, "Oh, we can make it a Game of Thrones property," and then put Game of Thrones elements in it. Because none of it, because like the
Kinda
wall,
like Star
the
Fox
wall
Adventures.
didn't look like it even
don't
belonged
get me
there. It looked like they put it there last minute. It was bad. I was like, "Ooh."
It's gonna be great.
But anyway,
Nice.
so yeah, Wasteland 2 doing extremely well there, and various other projects. Shadowrun, actually, which is a big deal for a lot of people. Shadowrun is a role-playing game. It was released as a pen and paper, and it was based on the idea that sort of in the far future, in this sort of cyberpunk kind of setting, there is also magic, and magic is a real thing, and magic has caused various sub-races, including trolls and dwarves and things like that, to actually be a thing. So like trolls tend to get jobs as bouncers in nightclubs and things like that, because obviously they're freaking trolls. You don't argue with them.
Profiling.
Yeah, pretty much
Racist.
big stereotypes.
Racist.
Developed by Farsa Corporation. Those are the guys who are also responsible for Mech Warrior and Crimson Skies, if you recall
They
correctly.
had an Xbox game, didn't they? Wasn't that like an online
Yes, they
third-person
did.
shooter?
Yes.
Shadowrun?
Yeah, Shadowrun, the actual game itself for Xbox 360 and PC, really had nothing to do with Shadowrun. It was actually a decent game in its own
Just
right.
name that.
But yeah, it essentially was. They licensed, the name was licensed. It was Microsoft Game Studios, it's their fault. And it had nothing to do with Shadowrun other than the fact that you could play as a troll or as a human, and there was some magic and some tech.
Troll bouncer.
Yeah, but the real Shadowrun, for like games-wise, was actually on the SNES and the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Those were the real Shadowrun games. And it's been a very long
I gotta
time.
look this stuff up.
Yeah, Shadowrun is very much a cult kind of classic. It's considered to be one of the best pen and paper role-playing games. And they did the Kickstarter. They were looking to raise $400,000 to make a kind of traditional RPG Shadowrun game. And they got it in 28 hours. And they are now on $1.2 million with 10 days to go.
Nice.
And they're looking to
Wow.
develop...
Dang.
Yeah, a lot. They're looking to develop a second city. They've got a ton of really great, awesome people backing it up, which is in itself fantastic. So, I suppose
That's pretty crazy.
the Kickstarter thing is going well, but what I've got to say is there's an awful lot more Kickstarters that aren't doing all so well, and one has to wonder, I suppose, where this ends. How far can they really go with this? Because we've had these games generating so much money, yet we also have a hell of a lot more that really aren't getting attention.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it comes down. It's the same philosophy as anything where something blows up big. Like Kickstarter's been around for a while, and only in the last few months has it really taken off in a gaming sort of way.
Yeah.
I've been on Kickstarter for a while, supporting all sorts of crazy things, and it's the fact that it's gaming and people. Trust me, crazy things like a comic book about like children's zombies.
No, you're a
like, just
Kickstarter
crazy things.
hipster.
Yeah,
I was there
Kickstarter
first.
exactly what it is.
before
I
it
was there
cool.
first. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so like, and it's been around long enough that it's ebbed and flowed. But there's been hundreds of things. Put your hipster glasses on. Everyone wants to see it. So and his V-neck that goes down way too far. No, but there's tons of stuff on there that never gets funded, and it comes down to what people want to see. I mean, it's funded by fans who want to see stuff get done. If it's something people want, they'll fund it. And if it's something that is either, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there, a lot of YouTube projects. It's like, we're two girls and we live in an apartment together and we want to do a show about us cooking, right? It's going to cost $8,000 to film this. Like, bitch, go out and get a camera and do it for like $350 and do it like everyone else is doing it. This webcam I have was like $60. Go get a webcam, woman. It'll be okay, right? And they want to like, and then you go to their channel and they're like, we have 132 views on our last video and we're going to make an epic web series. Like, no one's going to fund that, right? Stuff like that happens all the time there. But then there's like, artists and different like documentary, like people who really have produced quality content that need money in order to keep it going. And that's what people will fund, right? Games that have a history of being great that people are like, oh, damn, I remember that. And you see that a lot with older games and older franchises because the people who used to play those, the nerds of back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, are rich as hell now. Spoiler alert, the jocks are doing their laundry. right? And so this is the kind of yeah. That's my thing to the high school nerds out there. One day
Well,
you'll
it's true.
own everyone else who picks on you.
It's true, man.
And
It's
so.
true.
And they're the ones funding the money because they remember these things from when they were kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to see this again. I have the money now to spend on it, and so they do. And
Yeah.
the
Sorry, I'm
problem
just
that I see
kickstarting
happen-
a zombie board game at the moment, so please do continue.
see, there's some amazing things out there.
It looks
And
pretty
so what
great.
happens is, like for example, just like YouTube, and we can use Minecraft as a perfect example, right? When Captain Sparkles and Yarkscast started doing Minecraft stuff, the entire internet became diluted with Minecraft stuff. There's just so much. Everyone wants to jump on that bandwagon. And then when they see that money's involved, everyone's like, oh, I can make money on Minecraft. Same things on Kickstarter. Same video game production. People saw, oh my God, these people are making money to make their games that they want. Let's do this too. And it's just watering down the field. And so there are some really great things out there that deserve to be funded. But then there's stuff that's like, we blatantly are going to take your money and you're never going to see a result. Thankfully, 90% of the time, it's easy to spot that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what's happening at Kickstarter right now. It's people are just overloading it with garbage, unfortunately.
People are just
As a
really
hipster, I know
sick of
this.
seeing Kickstarters in
That's
general.
the same thing,
Like,
isn't it? That's
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
That's
worse
what
than the
sucks about
indie
it.
bundles thing. You know, the whole pay what you want indie bundles thing,
Mm-hmm.
because at least they kind of spread that out a bit. It's okay at the moment, I think, because there's a couple of different organizations that are doing it. Humble has one coming very soon, if I recall correctly. Indie Royale does so on a fairly regular basis, and a couple of others. In fact, even Gamersgate did one. But they were suffering bundle fatigue to a degree, but also it came down to kind of brand loyalty as well. Like, Humble would blow every other bundle out of the water in terms of how much money it raised. Even the previous Humble bundle, which actually wasn't even that great, simply because it was Humble bundle for Android. It was essentially a bunch of games that we've seen already in bundles, or that aren't really all that special, but it was like, oh, they've got Android versions as well. And that still raised 682 grand, which is not that bad. It's sold 106,000. With the average Windows purchase actually being higher than usual. It's $5.69 average purchase for Windows, which is surprisingly high because we've seen some
Come on,
pretty...
Windows users.
Yeah, I mean, Windows.
Fuck
The thing is,
up.
Windows users have been doing really badly with Humble bundles lately. I remember one was like $3
we
average.
normally just like shortchange that whole operation.
Yeah, it's
Every time I
horrible.
look and see how
Horrible.
much the Windows users pay, I'm like, come on, guys. You're getting so many games, really?
Yeah, dicks,
Upset.
really.
Sorry, continue.
Like, they started doing the whole pay more than the average and get probably like the best game. In this case, they did it well because they put Swords and Soldiers, which is the best game in that selection, in there as the pay more than $6, you get this too. So they came up with a good way of doing it. I do wish they'd support other charities other than EFF and Child's Play, but that's personal preference. So, but people were saying, we've got Humble bundle fatigue. Indie bundles, we don't want any more indie bundles, blah, blah, blah. And Kickstarter's reached that point way faster than that. r/games on Reddit, for instance, is sick of Kickstarter. They really are. Like, there's
So
new
sick of
Kickstarters
it.
popping up there every day. And people's like, oh, great, another Kickstarter. Incidentally, by the way, on the subject of Kickstarter...
You just kind of black them out.
Yeah, on the subject of Kickstarter, Ravaged, which was the game that I promoted today on my Kick Smarter show, did just finish its funding for additional content and stuff, so congrats to those guys. It's a Mad Max-style Battlefield game, essentially, which is actually already
Nice.
done. They
Nice.
needed extra money for polish and promotion and stuff like that, and extra weapons and stuff, so that's been funded, so congrats, guys.
I think that's the main concern people have. Like, when they see Kickstarters, it really annoys. I mean, I guess I'm speaking for like the everyman here. I'm probably completely inaccurate, but this is how I feel. It's annoying to see companies or people trying to do Kickstarters, because let's be honest, Kickstarter is give us your money on the promise we'll produce something for you that's quality. You have no guarantee of what you're spending your money on will be worth it, right? You're giving them money in the hopes that they'll create something wonderful and you can be a part of that creation. Well, the problem is that there's a lot of companies and people who are asking for your money, and you know damn well that they could fund this on their own. They just choose not to use their own money for the funding.
Well, to be
And
fair,
that's
though,
what is
But
pissing
you
people
don't
off.
have to do it, though.
surely you
can
would do
choose
that,
to
though.
not
If you had the
split 'em.
option, surely
Well,
you
no,
would
no,
do
no,
that.
no. You're absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely correct. It's just like anyone in any business. You
It's a
go
smart thing.
looking for Yeah, like producer credits. You go looking for funding for whatever you're creating. I mean, that's what. But you're not in the real world where you're dealing with banks and businesses and fundraising people and different people who are going to sponsor you. This is the internet, and you're asking the average Joe to support your cause, and I guarantee most of the people on this thing aren't filthy rich. They're people who are supporting whatever they can. I feel like this is awesome. And if no billionaire is going to support this, then I'll support it and I'll get it done, right? There's a lot of things in there like indie comics and indie films that no one would dare support because like, oh, that's like, who would support this idea? It's stupid, right? But, fans and people on the internet will do that. And I think the problem is that a lot of things that are being created are, we're a company and we have the money to do this on our own, but we're going to come to you guys to get it done because we for whatever reason. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong because honestly, I mean, that's the smartest way to do it. But from a looking at it through that lens standpoint, it's kind of like, why don't you just pay for it? If you want to make it so bad, why are you turning to us who have to then, support you in the process?
But I mean, who would you say actually has that kind of money? Because if we were to look through the recent projects, for instance, I think you can argue that In Exile might have had the money, but I don't really know. I mean, Brian Fargo is not poor by any stretch, but he did say, I'm going to give 100 grand. 100 grand's a lot of money to anybody. I mean, it really is, to throw at something like that. Not to mention the fact that they may end up needing more than that. In Exile is not a particularly successful company. They made Hunt of the Demon's Forge, which didn't do that great, and then they just made a remake of Choplifter, which didn't do all that well either, because actually it wasn't really that great. But what are you going to say? I mean, Double Fine? Does Double Fine have the money to do Double Fine Adventure? There are arguments to say that they haven't. That Double Fine has been one of these companies that started making AAA titles and has had to shrink down to making Xbox Live stuff. They can't afford to make these games, and Double Fine continually doesn't sell a lot of copies of its games. So could Tim Schafer have funded that? I mean, I'm pretty sure, didn't he say he was going to put some of his own money in as well? Who are you aiming at here? Which groups are you aiming at here that can already fund this themselves, but are trying to get our money anyway?
I was talking about perception. I'm not sure if that came through, but I was saying like these are companies that people perceive as being able to do it themselves, and so the reason why people are getting mad. I mean, clearly I'm not mad at any level because I'm still on there funding things, right? Like that, it's not an issue to me. Yeah. But the reason why there's the fatigue is because it's like one company, people saw, like, oh, this is a great idea. And now suddenly all these companies that could have otherwise funded it themselves are jumping in the ring saying, if people are willing to fund game X, they'll be willing to fund ours as well. And I think that's what I was trying to get at.
Right, but wasn't his question specifically who you're talking about?
Yeah, can you give an example of a company that's done this?
Yeah.
I'd have to be doing what you're doing and be on Kickstarter right now.
You can.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, all right, all right, hold on. I'm being very diplomatic. I believe the answer is I can, but don't want to offend said companies because I might want to get free copies of games from them in the future.
You're basically a pussy. That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Just so we know.
Or he's lazy and
coward.
Just
No, I do understand what Jesse's saying though, because like putting myself in a hypothetical situation where I'm looking at a Kickstarter, if I don't know anything about the company other than that they've made like a bunch of games, I might assume that they would probably have the ability to make this game regardless of whether or not I had the money to give them.
Yeah,
but then it sucks because a smaller company that wants to make a game maybe doesn't have many people who even know about it. So then they're not going to get as much funding as they want. So it's a lot of negative.
But that's why they have videos. Because on Kickstarter, you have all this space to tell who you are. And
you do. You've got a lot of
that's where, like,
these
videos.
Right. That is true.
Yeah, so that's where like your authenticity can come through, and no one's forcing you to invest.
Show something. So. And the Kickstarter stuff that I like the most, there's two extremes really. There's these big projects that, like the Banner Saga, which is just about to finish with 600% funding, which is awesome. Great news for those guys. Really great. Wasteland, Shadowrun, Double Fine Adventure, so on and so forth. But then you've actually got quite a few games recently that are here. We can actually show you the game because we've got this in pre-alpha. Necro's a good example. Necro is not doing all that well at the moment. We're trying to give it a bit of a shove because it looks awesome. They're asking for 100,000, and this game is they're pretty deep into development. This game, they can show you the game, and it looks good, and they have a clear vision of what the game's going to be. And curiously enough, I view that as a much, much safer option. Like Ravaged, for instance. Like Ravaged is basically done, but they're looking to get a bit extra to make more stuff. But the fact of the matter is you also get a copy of the game. That, to me, is a no-brainer. But...
No. You're absolutely right. And I think the thing that is, I guess I should specify here, my complaint is it's the companies who are like, we have not started production of this game. We have an idea for a game. And this is what we're going to do. And there's a ton of them out there.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and they want your money. And I think people are seeing that now as less of, oh, this is a cool thing I could get in on the ground floor of and help. Because that's what it essentially was a few months ago.
Is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I can get on the ground floor. Like, there was a game called Blink that I saw that was awesome looking. I was like, I have to support this thing. And it was, I don't know jack about these guys, right? But their concept was terrific. And so I can support that because the concept was terrific. But most of it is like, we're going to create a first-person shooter that is, something that you played 2 years ago. But
if there's a first-person shooter, then just you need to abandon them right there because FPS is really expensive. Like anyone says, we're going to make a first-person shooter for 100 grand. It's like, in what engine? Are we talking about Dark Places here, as in Quake 1?
Good luck.
Which engine are you using? How are you making that many assets? 100,000 for game development is not a lot of money. Think about it. If you talk about a year's game cycle, you pay 10 people $10,000, which is by no means enough to actually live on. Then you've got a 10-man team for a year. It's actually we can bring up the Game Station's got its own Kickstarter. Let's just say Yog Ventures, and people were saying, "Oh, that's a lot of money for this game," and it's like, well, it's not really. I think they were asking 200 or 250 grand for Yog Ventures. And really, for a 12 to 18 month development cycle for a reasonable sized team, that's not a lot of money at all. Not at all. That's a 10-man team on 25 grand a year, which is way lowballing developers of that. Like, if it's high caliber developers, you're asking more like 80 to 100 grand a year, at least, if you're a very high grade programmer. If you're a programmer in BioWare or whatever, you're getting paid more than 25,000 a year. That's just a fact.
What is Yog Ventures at right now?
They're funded. They got over 250,000 a few days ago, I think. If I recall correctly.
I don't know. I love the Yogscast, but that worries me. Not that they asked it. Good job, English. Not that they asked for 250,000 or whatever it is, 225,000 or whatever it is. Not that they asked for the money, but that's what they needed. Like, because you were just saying like that. You were saying that it costs such and such to fund, this person, and they have to pay these people.
Of course
in
it does.
development
that's
cycle.
pretty much common knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah. That seems like real low end.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost am like,
well,
I wish them the best in luck with their game, but I almost hope it doesn't suck because that kind of numbers has me worried. Like hopefully they have funds elsewhere they're using because that seems like not a lot of money to create the game that they say they want to create, right? I mean,
I would if they're not putting their own money into it as well, I would be very surprised. I would think they're putting their own money into it too.
That's low end. Yeah, like that. There's games that are like, I don't know any games that's what it costs to produce them yet.
Well,
I mean,
I
unless
know
they're going for
like
like
Braid was made for that, if I recall correctly. Didn't Braid cost 200,000? Just bear in mind, Braid was made by one guy, and that was made by Jonathan Blow, essentially.
But you also have to consider what they're trying to do is they're trying to take the Minecraft gaming experience and then put a Yogscast spin on it, which is just they have to change it enough to make it, sure, Notch can sit there and make it because Minecraft is what it is, but they're trying to take it to the next level. So, God bless them.
I think a lot of it, though, is like the labor of love element where they're going to take a hit on what it would really cost to make it because they just want to make it and make it awesome.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's difficult to actually tell on a Kickstarter how much of it really is that. It's like, it's 200.
Right, 'cause the
are we
footage
getting
they
a
showed
$250,000 game
pre-planned.
here, or are we getting really a $500,000 game because you are working for less than you should be, and because there's funds coming in from other sources that say. Yog Ventures is a great example because it's not a lot of money for that, and it's clearly not very far along in the development cycle. The video that was shown there is very basic, and it's in Unity, so that stuff is quite easy to knock together. So that's not really a big deal. It's obviously not very far along. If you look at Necro, for instance, that's obviously much, much further along. So it's like, 100,000? Okay, well, that's not a lot of money for Necro. But when you think about it, it's because they've got a lot of the game done already. This is what they need in addition to what they already have. Ravaged, another great example. Game's done, but they need some extra money to basically to get the marketing stuff together, to get a trailer out there, to make a demo, because that costs money as well, to make extra content and things like that. So that's what you're funding there. But I think actually the message, and I think the thing that comes out of this is that clarity and transparency is very much required, and we're not necessarily getting it at the moment. If you're saying $250,000, I want to know point by point where all of that's going. And if I'm honest, a lot of these projects don't do that. They really don't.
Right.
I want to see an explanation, and I also want to know where's the rest of the money coming from, if you're having money from other sources. Because if I give money to a project like this, and I think this is probably going to fail because their budget is unrealistic, I want to know if they've got money coming in from other sources, because I'm not just going to throw money at something that's going to fall over flat on its face.
Right.
Well, they don't say it, but they're probably going to take this successful Kickstarter and use that as and their popularity to be like, hey, other investors, we got this great idea.
Well,
we have this much now.
There's an example of that, actually. There's a good example of a game called Takedown. Takedown did exactly this. So these guys were looking to make a realistic tactical shooter along the lines of old school SWAT games and old school Rainbow Six. Yeah. And it's by a company called Sorellen, and they were looking for 200,000, and people actually turned around and said, that's not enough, right? And they said, yeah, it's not enough. We're raising 200,000 because that's how much the investors needed to see us raise in order to get interested. And people did fund that. It did get funded, 221,000 out of the goal. It was kind of an 11th hour thing, honestly. It was lagging behind before then. And that's an example of them being very transparent about saying, this is what the 200,000 is for. Yeah, 200,000 builds an alpha. Yeah, and that alpha they then use, and they also use the amount of support and publicity behind the title to say, people do want this, so invest in it.
With that said, though, and thinking about investors, and I hate being hypercritical of people I consider friends. Pre-apologies, Yogcast, but naming your game the Yog Ventures is a horrible effing name.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I love you guys.
That is the dumbest thing.
But that's a horrible name.
It is. It's it's terrible.
I get that it's based.
I'm on your
that's
side, bro.
unmarketable to anyone. Who would, if you're a business and you say Yog Ventures, what's it about? And you say it's about the Yogscast characters.
It's brand
what
recognition.
It's a horrible brand recognition.
But it's really bad brand recognition. This is not
it's bad brand.
This is not a Batman game. You know, the word doesn't even make any sense.
Only the fans know that, and I love that their fan base is huge enough that no matter what, they'll probably make a fortune off of it. But that doesn't matter. You're marketing a game, and your title is the Yog Ventures. What does that even mean? And anyone who doesn't know the Yogscast is gonna be like, I don't even know what this is, and they're not gonna buy it because you know, I love them. I love the guys.
If people hear that a game is good, they don't care what the name is.
I think I don't think it helps,
Kingdoms
though.
of Amalur: The Reckoning. You're like, okay.
Well, that's pretty descriptive.
No. There's
Kingdoms
kingdoms of a place called Amalur, and there's a reckoning involved.
Indeed.
I get it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Name one game title that is as specific as Yog Ventures.
No, this is okay. This is why.
Yo-noid. That's not a good comparison, is it?
And that game was shit. That game was shit. The game about the Noid from Domino's Pizza was shit. No one bought it because it was Yo-noid. The same thing. Yogscast will sell games to their fans. Done. But you can't build anything off of that. The Yog Ventures.
They have so many people watching them from all over the world. They're all going to play it, and if it's good, they're all going to tell other people to play
why
it.
intentionally limit
They're
yourself?
not starting from ground one with people not even knowing to play this game.
But why limit yourself? That would be like making a game called like the Jesse Cox Experience or the TB Hat Off, right? Or like the Dodge.
That's Team Fortress 2, right?
Both of those to sell.
I want these games.
It's a double
What
cross
is
pack.
games?
Right?
The
What
Jesse
would you
Cox
name it?
Experience. Short and
If you could name it,
disappointing.
Jesse, what would you name it?
If I can name their game,
Yeah.
it would be named something completely. I don't know what
It
I'd have
would
to
not-
actually
it
play
wouldn't have the
their
word
game to know what it
Yogscast
was
in it.
about.
Yeah.
Is this the
if
final
Yogscast
name,
was
or is
over-
it a working title?
It's Yog Ventures. I mean, that's the name of the game. If there was something like the Yogscast Presents and like a little small thing above the name of the game, it could sell just as much. But by saying Yog Ventures, that's limiting. Like, this could be one of the best things in the world, but the name itself limits. I don't know what that game's about. I have no. It's Yogs are adventuring. What the hell is happening? What is that?
What is a
Yeah,
Yog?
I
World
think you're
Sandbox
putting way
game.
too much weight
Jesse.
into the title of a game.
Yeah,
You
but it's
honestly-
not
you
just
You only
that.
buy games based on title.
The
Titles
entire-
don't sell games.
All
Are
right,
you kidding me?
Hang on. The thing is that it's not just the title, because the theme is very much ingrained into the game. Like, when you watch the video, the characters are essentially their characters from the Minecraft series, only modeled outside of Minecraft. There are Joffa cakes, just
Okay, well then,
rip off of
and
Jaffa
that's
cakes.
a concern. That's a concern that goes beyond the title. That's not just the title. That's
Yeah,
like
but
the
the
whole
title
thing.
represents the concern. It's the fact that
Yeah,
if you brand a game, you are essentially making a licensed game, yeah, surrounding a brand. Licensed games have a tendency of not being very good, and that's because it's not just because the games are bad. They're just generally tied in. They're limited by their very license. They're not empowered by the license. How does the license
and
empower the
short
game?
comments like that.
Like, an example, right? How does Batman empower the license of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City? And you could list off hundreds of reasons as to why it's much better as a Batman game than it would be as anything else.
Right.
Yeah? You could have Arkham Asylum, cut Batman out of it, cut all of the Batman elements out of it, and it would be a worse game for it. What about this one, though?
It'd still be a pretty cool game, though.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as cool, and you know it. Don't even try to argue that.
I mean,
If you weren't
as
playing
a
Batman,
large,
It's true.
what would it
as,
be?
as a Batman fan, yes, I agree. It would be a lot less, but it's still like pretty sound game design.
Well,
Oh, yeah, of
but
course.
I think what he's saying is, in this game, you have a character who is sort of, kind of dressed like a piratey version of Commander Riker.
Mhm.
You have a dwarf who shows up.
Yeah.
You have
I mean, you can make your own character in
Jofo
this
cakes or
thing.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, and then basically you're adding the Minecraft element, right? Like, this could be an amazing game. It could be super fun, but what we've seen so far is kind of like, where are you going with this? Right? It seems very oriented to a fan base that
But that's exactly what they
would
wanted to
only
make,
appreciate it.
obviously.
clearly, obviously, right? But I'm saying, I think we're going into this as we're looking at a game being developed. If you're developing a game,
You're also
right,
asking for a
and you want to
$250,000
succeed-
for it. That's something to
yeah, I
consider
mean, if you're
there.
asking for real
This is
money,
a bit beyond fan service, one might say. You're looking to
Yeah,
make
I
a
mean-
successful commercial title out of this thing.
there was a Dodger game. I'm not sure people know this. There was a Dodger
Yeah, I
game that
know
was on the
about that,
TGS
yeah.
website. when
There
that
was.
existed, and
I
bet
did
that
all
thing
the
cost
animations for that game.
I bet that thing cost $56 on a weekend, and it was fun. So trust me, I'm letting you know now that if you're asking for a lot of money and you're gonna make a fan-friendly game, Dodger made a game, and I guarantee it wasn't $225,000. So I'm saying that with that kind of money,
was an
this
app-
game should be
It was an
terrific.
absolute time.
The worry I have is that it's gonna be too focused on one thing, and it'll be sort of like a niche, like, oh, that's cute, I get to play as Simon or Lewis for a while. Where's the actual game, though? Like, after a while, where's the game? I mean, I guess
Right.
that's I truly hope they succeed, because this will be awesome, because I'll play it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so what are you guys making? Like, I need more.
Yes, Dodge.
Can I request a TotalBiscuit Jesse Cox playthrough of Yacht Ventures?
Jesus Christ. Have you
my
any
God,
idea what
yes.
you've just started?
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Yes, done.
That would be great.
Oh my
That
God.
would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
classic.
Oh.
So
We'll
many
do
worlds.
Roll reverse, so I get to be Lewis. I get to be Lewis. You get to be Simon. We'll roll reverse. Holy
There's
crap.
no
It'll flip
way
the
you're
worlds
alpha
upside down.
enough to do that. No way.
I just ruined TV's whole evening.
Oh,
Can I just say?
Oh.
I hate you more than
That's
I
happening.
hated you
That's
previously.
happening. I'm very excited now. Oh, can you imagine? I say we play it just like we'll get in character and we'll pretend to be the Oxcast. And then we'll play it like I love Jaffa cakes. I don't know what those are, right? And we'll do the whole thing. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful.
This is getting too meta
Meanwhile,
for me. I can't deal with it.
this is too meta. Meanwhile, Simon and Lewis are about to write us like a cease and desist letter. They're gonna get the lawyers out on the shit.
Nah, they're not. They're cool about that kind of stuff. If I'm honest, though, I've and ahed over doing a Kickstarter for something, but I don't think naming a game after yourself is a very good idea. It really doesn't.
Right.
It's
I'm gonna do one.
I
I
wouldn't want to see all the success of the game kind of hinged on the fact that it's a license. If you want to make a game and you want to use your supporters to back it, great. You know, that's what they're there for. Fans are to be exploited. That's what they're there for. So that's okay. But what you need to do, I'm just stating facts here. This is the real world. Let's just no fluff on this podcast.
It is true. He
This is
did
straight talking.
move his PO box. So you can see his PO
I've
box
moved the PO
now.
box now. I want the plop. Send it to me. But not the black. The sad thing is, what they'll do is all they'll do is send me the black licorice plop because they know I don't like it. Bastards. It's my own fault. I treat them like crap.
You're so good to your fans. They treat you just as well.
I was gonna say, I treat them like shit. I expect this reaction from them. In fact, I'd be very disappointed if I didn't get that. And it's like
You're gonna get all of the salty or licorice flavored Swedish candies.
That's what I expect
are.
from the fan base, and if they don't do that, I'll be disappointed in them. But
yeah, but there's an easy workaround, which is just say the one you like. Say hate that one. Boom, done.
Well, the thing is, I could probably just trade them with Jesse anyway. I just send him the salt licorice ones or Dodger, and you can send me the caramel ones.
He's like, oh, I love these.
Yeah.
We have a comment that says a game should be called Call of Cox. I think that needs to be a game.
We were talking about truly adult games earlier. Call of Cox will clearly be
This would
it.
not be one of them. This would not be one of them. It would be stick figure hentai is what it would be.
Jesus
The entire game is stick figures. Fighting
It's
tentacles.
actually a love simulator, but with stick figures.
Yes. But with stick figures. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have a love simulator surrounded Jesse Cox. That seems highly unrealistic.
Spoiler alert, you always end up in the friend zone.
Big thing.
The end of the game is there's 15 endings, they all end in the friend zone but with different colors. That's how it works.
You acquire your war assets, you build up your war assets, and you just fail regardless. It's a Jesse Cox simulator.
You always fail. The ending is after so many dates you get I think we should just be friends. No matter what you do. No matter what you do. You could woo her for like 2 years, then it's like, yeah, we should just be friends. Like that's
The
life and times
really
of Jesse Cox. Yeah, but don't name games after yourself.
Amazing
experience.
It's just it is a bit of an ego trip, honestly. It really is. Let's not name games after ourselves. It's like, yeah, put yourself into a game as a bonus character. Cool. I will have an NPC in Wasteland.
No Dance Dance Davis.
Definitely not. Speaking
Please.
of Dance Dance, yeah, we do have something on the subject a little later on.
We need Fujimura Pantsu the game, and we'll make it like Asura's Wrath, just batshit crazy. Yes, and he gets his superpowers from sniffing undies.
Dear Lord,
it's a Japanese thing.
All right, trailers. Let's do trailers. So, we have 3 trailers today, and one of them involves orcs. And as we are well aware, when we are dealing with orcs, they must die. So let's take a look. Orcs Must Die 2 is on the way. So here's the trailer. Orcs Must Die 2, ladies and gentlemen, which is, needless to say, the sequel to the rather successful Orcs Must Die by Robot Entertainment, which was on the PC as well as the 360. That was a $15 downloadable game. It's essentially third-person tower defense, where you build a selection of traps, and orcs have a tendency of being chopped to pieces in them, or incinerated, or thrown into pits of acid, and so on and so forth.
I never
like
played the
music.
first one, but ever since Hero Academy came out, and I've been playing that constantly,
That is by
I
Robot,
love
yes.
Robot Entertainment. So
Well,
now, I'm like,
they now
I
have a proper
gotta
iPad version of that game, so I'm back into it now, because I was playing it and it was horrible. It's like, it's the iPhone graphics and stuff, but yeah, they have an iPad version. Hero Academy is very, very good. Orcs Must Die, I definitely enjoyed a hell of a lot. And it had a really nice graphics style. We got people bitching in the chat. It's like, oh, the graphics don't look very good. And it's like, what are you, 12? Come on, guys. It's a nice cartoony style in a similar manner to Dungeon Defenders. And the addition of co-op is the biggest deal for me, because the one thing that game did feel was a bit lonely. There was no multiplayer in it. It had a lot of content for the price. It had a lot of levels. It was great, but co-op, yes, definitely. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I believe it's actually PC exclusive this time around, which is quite surprising. Apparently the game did pretty damn well on PC.
What was the first one? What all was it available on?
360 and PC after that.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
I feel like that's the sort of game that would be way better to play on PC anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Like,
trying to
mouse would
imagine
make
the
all the
controls
difference.
on 360.
Yeah.
Not feeling it.
What game is
no.
better on the
Not sure I would
PC?
be into that.
So,
That's a good question.
Snobby.
Any fighting game to me.
Every game
guess
is
as
better on
long as-
PC.
fighting games are fine. You just need to
But
use
it's all USB fight sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
just
was
plug
gonna
my
say, as long as I have a
in.
Yeah,
fight stick, I guess it's
still
fine.
looks better on the PC though. PC's
Yeah.
still better.
And
Yeah.
you can use
Since
mods.
every console is like what, at least 5 years old at this point. You know, come on.
Yeah.
I think what is the 360 like 7 years? Something
7
like that?
years.
Something
Yeah,
crazy like
tech's
that.
even a little older than that. So yeah, that's just the
So-
way of it. But
You know, it's
Yeah.
starting to look dated. Bring
I'm gl-
on whatever's next. The PlayStation
I'm glad it was
4,
successful enough.
720, whatever.
Just to say that they're saying, oh, it's going to be PC exclusive. Like, wow, that's actually really surprising, because it was a 360 release. So you're telling me the PC version did well enough for you to say, we're not even going to bother with 360 this time around. We're going to put it on PC.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's surprising.
Yep.
Very surprising.
Wait, is it exclusively on Steam? Because that makes no sense. If it's exclusive to Xbox, you know Microsoft is paying for it. But which PC company is paying for it to be an exclusive on a PC?
Steam had it on there. Steam had it.
But
It was
is it?
Steam
Can
game.
you get it elsewhere? Is it exclusively Steam?
Good question.
I don't know.
Good question. I'm trying to find that out right now, actually.
Wikidata.
Yeah,
Wiki, you'll know.
it probably
Best
will.
podcast ever. It's time for a wiki break.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like, we
TV,
have
wiki.
no idea. I don't know, honestly. It will be a Steam game though, because the first one was as well. So I don't think there's any
Okay.
real question about that.
So maybe Valve.
Valve may have. I have to wonder how much that is actually done. But the problem with Valve is they don't really talk about a lot of that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of NDAs flying around. And Steam, as good as it is kind of shrouded in mystery to some degree. I do not know if they actually pay companies to make their game a Steamworks game. I have no idea if that's the case. Or if they just say, well, you know what? It's beneficial for Steam to be the primary platform for us. You know, so we're going to sell more copies, we're going to make more money, so use Steamworks for this. And if that's their motivation behind people using Steamworks, because the bigger the software library, the more installed user base they've got, the more profit they make in the long run. But that's
what I've
impossible to
always assumed.
speculate, because again, they don't talk about that. So, but it's good news one way or the other for those who liked Orcs Must Die, which I am one of them, without question. It was a great game. It's been on sale several times. It will most likely be on sale again on Steam, the original, and if you do see it on Steam, do pick it up. And there is a video on my channel of it. It is pretty awesome. And I showed you some of the
it
more
is.
advanced levels. It's a very,
He makes the
very
best
good game.
videos.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
It's
not a
pretty
bad
terrific.
video. It was okay. No, it was fairly
Oh,
average.
you're talking about the game. I thought you were
Not
talking
my
about the video.
best.
Look, I make.
I'm trying to
I make
see
videos.
how much the regular Orcs Mustek costs right now on Steam?
$9, something like that. $14.99.
$9.50.
Oh, it was close. See, that is number 3. I was right about today.
Dang it!
You're welcome, world.
No.
The prophecy
We're
is
never
coming
going to hear
true.
the end of this now, you know that.
Got a good Metascore.
When
though.
it happens,
You can't count Prometheus.
I am, because time is an illusion. I thought we went
Can't.
over this.
You
Time is
can't
an
count it.
illusion.
Well, then talk to the future you who's already seen it and was proven wrong, and have him clarify.
Future me is laughing right now because he's surrounded by, let's say, space sluts and riding on a jetpack.
You're all in the friend zone.
There's space sluts,
you-
but I'm
you
in the
pay
friend
them-
zone.
You pay them to have sex with you, and you still end up in the friend zone.
Whoa, no. Pause. They're space sluts, not space whores. All right?
Oh.
No paying
Oh,
going
totally
on there.
different. But you don't
Alright,
get it
give me
anyway
some
because you're in the
credit,
friend
sir.
zone.
Give me some credit.
So you can't even
Space
pay them
whores
for it.
carry space herpes, and you don't want space herpes. Because that's awful.
Is that? I ask if
I'm not
that's
gonna
from
explain
personal
it. Just
experience.
skip to the future,
but
and you'll find out what space
it
herpes
somehow
is.
seems
Who am I?
unlikely.
A Wikipedia for space herpes? Dicks?
Jesse Cox, Wikipedia for space herpes, comma.
As we find out,
I
you're the
feel like
carrier of it and the creator of this.
Somebody make that page.
Plot
That'd be
twist:
great.
Jesse is the space herpes.
That's why you're in the friend zone. You're like, I
Spoiler
gotta be
alert.
honest, I got space herpes, and they're like, yeah, we'll just be friends.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't do it that way. See, that's not creative enough. I go, I have herpes in space. That's all I tell them.
You may
And
be
they're
the
like,
worst
oh.
man. The worst.
Space herpes is like,
No, it's herpes in space.
Can we watch the next trailer yet? Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Witcher 2, go.
Witcher 2, yes.
Did you dream of the Wild Hunt again?
I get the feeling that dream's important. Running frantically through the forest. The Wild Hunt. They're the last things I remember.
You know each other?
Rather well. But he has amnesia. Fear not, Elf. I know Geralt. I know his weakness.
You will tell me everything you remember. The entire assault.
And if I refuse?
They'll publicly gut you, skin you, and hang you.
Just like that? For nothing?
No, for Temerian.
And there you go, folks. So Witcher 2 is actually out yesterday, or maybe even today, one way or the other. I'm actually not sure what the date is anymore. I haven't really been paying attention, but
Yesterday.
yes, it is out, and is out on 360 more to the point. You know, I do like the fact that they spent a long time making a very good 360 version, and the reviews have been very, very positive for it, because as this is the problem I've got with PC elitists, right? You know, I can say I'm a bit of a snob in that, you know, I've got a very expensive PC. I expect my PC to be better than consoles. It should be. It's like I expect a BMW to be better than a Kia. It's just as simple as that. But it may, you know, they're both designed to do the same thing, to go to the same destination. But we complain a lot about bad PC ports. but we don't really seem to pay much mind to the other way around, because I suppose it's less frequent. But in the case of Witcher, it seems like they've spent a hell of a long time making it a good console game. And let's be honest, that is a really good-looking console game. And that game looks very, very good on 360. And probably better than it does on quite a few people's PCs, honestly. It's very impressive.
I was playing the console game. It's safe to say it looks like somewhere between medium and high settings. And knowing the intensity they put into the PC game, a lot of people couldn't even play it on their PCs. So if you couldn't play this game, 360 is probably the best way to go without having to spend a fortune on a new computer. That's how intense the graphics are. So intense that the new computer I bought 2 weeks before this game released last year couldn't even play the highest graphic settings. And it was the best you could afford then. That's how high the graphics are. So
were those
yeah.
Was that trailer done with the Xbox 360 version running?
Yeah, that's all that you can tell the difference.
Seriously?
Yeah, that was Xbox.
Wow.
That was all Xbox. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, man, that can't be running on Xbox.
The thing that kind of disappointed me is there's another trailer that that was a lot of cutscene stuff. There's another trailer that shows you there's an arena they added now. There's all sorts of cool stuff they added to make it more Xbox friendly, I guess. But the thing that really stood out is they went through and redid, and this, God bless these guys, they redid every single menu thing. The menus were redone from scratch, so it wasn't some shitty PC port. And they redid how you played the game on 360 because, controller versus keyboard with all the buttons. Exactly. They were there's no way that we could port a PC game to a 360 and make it work. So we've got to rather than screw it up for the PC players and make that everyone a single version where it combines both, they're we just made a different version entirely for the 360, which is just that's a little bit of dedication. So joke.
They should be applauded for that, honestly, because at the end of the day, you can say whatever you like. PC gaming is great. PC gaming should be the best because it's the most expensive, it's the most flexible. But at the end of the day, if you play a game on a console, it doesn't make you a lesser gamer or anything crap like that. And if anyone believes otherwise, they're an idiot. We had a comment in the chat earlier, which was richest game on 360. That's like saying most intricate game on iPhone. It's no, it isn't. Fuck off. Don't be an idiot. Are you serious? Are you implying there are no real games on console? Then you're talking out your ass. You really, really are. There are certain genres that do not work well on a console. I totally attest to that. RTS doesn't work well on a console. Turn-based strategy doesn't work well on a console, and so on and so forth.
Warcraft 64.
No, I actually got that running on my phone. It was not a good experience for anybody. Trust me. Oh God. But
nope, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that.
But there's a ton of other genres that work absolutely fine, and there's loads of great games available for console. And obviously, I prefer a PC version because it's better. But at the end of the day, the game was still designed and runs on consoles, and I'm really happy that CD Projekt have put forward and just said, we understand there's a difference. And this is actually coming from the other side of the coin, because there's so many developers that are console primary that either they don't understand the difference or they don't care about the difference. So many games that come out with no FOV options, really poor graphics options, so on and so forth. But CD Projekt are a PC developer. They've never developed a console game before. Now they have, and it looks like they've blown everybody else out of the water, and that's their first console game. Well, GG. Well done to them. That's awesome news for everybody. And I want to see them lead by example, and they should do well.
Well, they were going to port the original Witcher, right? And then they wound up not doing it. So
yes, Witcher White Wolf, I think, is what they're calling it, yeah.
I think that's probably another aspect of it, is that so many people, when they said, oh, we're going to port this for 360, they said, okay, right, sure. But then they wound up actually doing it, and it had to be good, and they also just care a lot about the people who play, so.
Yeah.
I think they have a different background than most gaming companies, because having been there, 90% of their offices are not for gaming. It's translation for movies into Polish, and basically their foundation is on changing things from the original and making it fit in whatever environment.
That's what CD Projekt did. They originally started as a translation company for games to translate games into Polish. and they made a lot of money that way.
And I think that sort of is what's behind their, if we're going to make this game for an Xbox, let's make a game for an Xbox and not say, here's another market we can sell stuff to. Because I think even though it sounds like, well, that's just, that sounds like they're just being too good to be. It's a really smart business plan. Like most companies assume if we sell this quickly, right, people will buy it, we'll make a ton of money. But that's not like a long-term business strategy. That's a let's get as much money as we can off of this and get out while we can. And their strategy is if the game's good, people will buy it not just now on initial release, but down the road as well. Which is just, that's smart.
Good business
practice. That's, a thought process. Yeah, it goes against what a lot of gaming companies are do. Yeah, a lot of gaming companies now, it's about initial, like the first week of a game, how much can we sell then? And then after that, it's like, all right, whatever.
DLC. Yeah. Day one DLC. Fun times. But, I mean, Davis, you mentioned earlier the whole Diablo 3 thing actually going to console. I have no objection to that. I mean, Diablo 1 was on PlayStation. And nobody really seemed to object to that. And I think the concern would only be if there were really big changes made to the Diablo 3 PC version. And this is something that's coming up because some people are claiming that a lot of the changes that are currently being made to Diablo 3 in the beta are console-centric. Like, Jesse, you've played it, haven't you? Like, they've limited the number of skills on the bar, right?
They essentially changed the entire game, like the overall game, to fit, say, 6 buttons. 6 buttons. You have your 2 mouse. You have 1 through 4, and then 5 are your spell, and then a potion button. And basically, if you think about it, that fits every button option. I mean, I don't know if that was their reasoning, but it fits perfectly into what you would think a gaming company would do if they wanted to port something to Xbox. They simplified the game to make it easier for an Xbox or PlayStation player. I mean, I don't know if that's their strategy behind it, but that's at least what it seemed like. I don't know.
I read that as them trying to sort of go the MOBA route where you have sort of limited options.
And I mean,
possibly.
That's how it was sold. And it definitely, I mean, that makes sense. It's not like it was some sort of super secret cabal of like, we're going to sell this to 360. I mean, the way they said was like, look, we want people to have to decide how they want their character to be. And everything they've done has made it that, where it's like when you pick, say, a sorcerer, for example, or I guess it's a wizard now. I'm not sure what they call it. But when you pick that class, you have a choice between like lightning spells and you can do like void spells and ice and all sorts of fire, all sorts of different things. And then they make you choose 4 things to use. Essentially, you're limited to what you can use. And then they go in and then they say, we have these runes that everyone has access to as you level. You get more and more access to the runes. And then those change how stuff looks as well. So they definitely wanted to make like every character, even though shape-wise, because, you can't change the way your character looks except for armor, looks the same. Your abilities and everything you do will be different. And since none of the runes give you any, like, major, super game-breaking benefits over another one, it's just sort of how you want to play. Every character
I'm willing to bet, though,
different.
when they go into it, they'll find the certain rune combinations that are, like,
better. Elitist Jerks is probably already on that. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. But their theory is, like, that's how people will play, which is it's a great idea. But again, then they went in and they changed it from being able to find runes you found, and you found random levels of runes, to now you automatically get runes. They changed the menu system to make it simpler. They simplified everything in a way that's what's sparking the rumors of the changes being made for
consoles. Yeah.
Console, because it was a year ago the game looked a certain way. If you were playing that game a year ago and you want to play this one now, it does not look like, besides what you see on the screen, like gameplay wise, it looks the same, but controls are completely, like, the functionality of the game has changed. And in a year.
Well, except for that it's still so mouse centric. Like, if they're really doing this to prepare it for a console port, wouldn't they just fundamentally change combat so that it was more stick based? Because it's still, I play the BlizzCon every time.
No, they've changed that as well.
Really?
if you remember, and this goes back to Diablo 1 and 2, if you remember, on your mouse, you had, originally you had an attack, like a normal attack button, right? Like in a normal slash, and then you had a spell that was on your, so like left would be attack, right would be a quick spell, right? Normal attacks, white damage attacks are completely removed from the game now. They're gone. You cannot, like, they do not physically exist.
You don't just click.
If you're a mage, for example, or wizard, jeez, your right button is one spell, your left button's another spell. If you run out of mana, then you use your wand as a last minute resort because you have no mana, but then you get mana back and then it takes over automatically. You do not have the option to use your wand, or if you're a warrior, you only use like your bash skill or whatever it is, or barbarian.
That's
I guess
so
it is.
bizarre.
You only use
It really
and
is.
the reason why, and that again sparked a lot of like, this is for console players, because what console player is going to use a normal attack when it's one of your buttons that they can use up? So instead they use a graphically powerful attack, which, I mean, it makes sense when you look at the game, because your normal attack's dinky and barely has any like actual graphical appeal, but everything else is just bodies exploding and stuff. And so I think they want to focus more on that. I guess that's what they're
that
trying
doesn't
to
change
do.
the fact that you're still mousing. You're still using your mouse to like aim. That's not. I mean, whether or not you have a regular attack, or the attack is
understandably,
named
but at the
something.
same time, but at the same time, it's, think of the game. I mean, this is a simple port over, and so I think somewhere, I mean, I can see this happening at Blizzard. They were making this game, and somewhere someone said, "Hey, this is why don't we just sell this on PS3 or Xbox? I mean, we could do that. It's that easy." And they were like, "Okay, sure." And then they decided to, before they released the game, because it makes sense. Because I guarantee if they released the game and then said we're going to port it, and they made all these changes, people would have a shit fit. Like, they would lose their mind.
Of course.
So they decided to do it before the release and change it now, so that when it does release, 6 months into the game, no one will care that that's what the changes were. I mean, it's smart on Blizzard's end. I mean, it may not be the best thing, but if they are going to do a console release, they've done it in such a way that the majority of Blizzard or Diablo players will not know a damn, like, we know this stuff, and people who are really into like gaming news know this stuff, but most people are going to see Diablo 3 for the first time on release and be like, "Oh, okay," and they won't really know that it changed drastically.
Okay.
And I think that's their plan, and
Right.
it's smart. So
yeah, fair enough. So the comparison, I suppose, between the two, to round this up before we go on to the final trailer, and which is another port, I might add, which would be Dark Souls Prepare to Die, would be the difference between Witcher 2's port and Diablo 3's port is that Witcher 2, they spent a lot of time post-launch making the game work for console in such a way that they really don't compromise the game. With Diablo 3, it seems like they're making fundamental changes to the game mechanics before PC release, with a view to it working better on console when they then eventually port that. And if I'm totally honest, one of those is much better than the other, and I think you can guess which one it is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course. The conspiracy clearly is happening. Anyway, Dark Souls, a rather difficult game, to say the least, was subject to a petition to bring it to PC. It succeeded. Yeah. It is coming to PC. There is a trailer for it. It comes with additional content. Unfortunately, it does also come with some rather bad news, but we'll get onto that after we watch the trailer. So here it is. Dark Souls, Prepare to Die.
Peggy 16.
There you go. That is the trailer to Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition, which is coming to PC in August. It contains additional content. There are a couple of new bosses in there. There are new mobs, new levels, new equipment. There is supposedly a bit more matchmaking involved in it. Sadly, via Games for Windows Live, which is not so good.
I was so upset when I heard that.
Yeah, although there's still speculation, actually. They're saying that they haven't got it 100% nailed down that it'll be Games for Windows Live. So we're waiting to hear. I mean, I don't really want to repeat why it's Games for Windows Live. And the short answer to it is it's easier to port a game from 360 to PC and use Games for Windows Live. It's just, it's much easier to do that. But
it sounds like people just turned around and immediately made a new petition. Like the second
they did.
they were like,
yeah,
they
absolutely did. Like, no, we don't want Games for Windows Live.
Here you go.
Well, I mean, the main reason why they don't want Games for Windows Live, which, once again, this is a topic I've discussed, so I don't want to go into too great a detail, is the fact that in some countries, you just can't buy Games for Windows Live games. They're not licensed now.
Right.
So if you are, I think Romania was one of them, actually, because I've got quite a number of Romanians that check my channel, and they were trying to buy Section 8 Prejudice, and they couldn't buy it because Games for Windows just does not actually license in that country. So that's a problem in and of itself. But unfortunately, there have been some other revelations over the last couple of days which have not been positive, not at all. And there's a
Dark Souls?
Yes, yeah. The news is not good. Let me put it that way.
Oh, don't break my heart.
The first thing, unfortunately, is that the keyboard and mouse support for it is going to be very, very limited, and they recommend that you use a pad. That isn't actually so bad. Funnily enough, I'm actually not concerned about that. I'm not so concerned about that. And the reason I'm not concerned about that is the fact that, last I checked, we have USB ports on our computers. And there are some games that just don't work so well with keyboard and mouse. Like, a great example would be any racing game except for Trackmania, for instance.
Sorry, I totally just sneezed and missed what we're talking about.
Well done, Davis. Exceptional work.
I missed the start of this. Something about a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. They're saying that mouse and keyboard support will be in the game, but it will be minimal. So they expect you to kind of use a pad, really. Pad will be optimal for that game. I don't really necessarily blame them for that, because it's just the nature of the game itself is not necessarily going to work so well with keyboard and mouse. All I hope is that you can rebind it. Yeah, I want key rebinding. If that's in the game, people will figure something out. So I'm not too worried. I mean, there's other games that don't work so well with keyboard and mouse. Like people said, oh, Assassin's Creed is really difficult to play with keyboard and mouse. Personally, I was okay with it, but a lot of people had said that the pad is much better for controlling a game like that. Or Darksiders, for instance, another good example, or Ninja Blade, or anything like that. Those kind of action games, those third-person games don't work so well with keyboard and mouse. I think anything that doesn't have ranged attacks and guns in third person probably doesn't work so well with keyboard and mouse on PC.
Yeah. I think it's just depressing going from talking about CD Projekt putting a whole lot of work into their port and then immediately talking about this.
Yeah, the thing is, it gets worse.
Yeah, it's not going to work very well, so
it gets
just use
worse.
the pad. We're not going to...
Yeah, that was the least of the problems with it. So apparently they're not going to really improve the graphics all that much. There were even rumors that it might be locked at 30 FPS. If that's the case, then that's disastrous. I'm hoping that's not the case, but there's no confirmation on that, though. There's no confirmation on that.
That is an illogical. Why even bother? I mean, I understand that fans got what they wanted there. Like, that's a great victory. Why even bother?
I agree. I do agree on that matter. I just said I would honestly prefer that they not do it at all. If they're gonna botch it, then they'll just not. I don't expect swathes of improvements, but I also don't expect them to botch it either, because you are essentially botching it if you have poor controls. If you lock it at 30 FPS, you are essentially insane, because
I would much rather them take the time to make it right.
Yeah, the problem is
be like, here you go.
I don't think Namco Bandai's funding that. I mean, there's a recent example of a game that did this really well was Alan Wake. Yeah, Remedy actually funded the port themselves. They made that money back in like a week. Yeah, the game sold well on PC, and the PC version really good. Like, it blows the console version out of the water. Much better graphics. It has an FOV slider in a third-person game. That's incredibly rare.
Wow.
They went that far. They completely redid everything. They gave you all the options you needed. Plays great with keyboard and mouse. And it was... Oh, they also included the DLC, I might add. And it was cheaper. Great. That's a port and a half. You know, you should support that.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about Dark Souls because I think that Japanese developers don't have a lot of experience with PC. And I think it's showing. Like, From actually have had a PC game before. Those who don't know, Ninja Blade was on PC. But that game, while it was pretty good, was a straight console port, 30 FPS, no VSync. You couldn't really play it with keyboard and mouse. You pretty much had to play it with a controller. And it wasn't a good port, not at all. If I'd paid more than $5 for that game, I would have probably got a bit miffed. But Japanese companies...
Yeah, you brought up a really good point I never really thought about before. And then you see this on Steam too, like Squeenix does this all the time, where they'll bring games over to PC and they're garbage on a PC.
Last Remnant,
like
really bad on PC.
Yeah, and then you see like the game, like the version that they had for Xbox or PS3 or whatever, and it looks just way better. Like thought and time is put into it. Why is that? That's
the PC market in Japan
like some deep secret. Yeah,
well, the PC market in Japan is way small, man. Think of significant games that come out in Japan. I mean, South Korea, sure. China, yeah. You know, PC games popular in China and popular in South Korea. Japan, though? Hell no.
Japan is very console.
Japan is all console.
Yeah.
Why
is that, though?
I don't know. It's just a cultural thing, I guess.
Well, and it's not going to change with these really terrible ports.
Definitely not. No.
Right. I mean, it's clearly cultural. I just don't understand why it's a cultural thing.
I can tell you why. Because
you're saying because like they live in small houses and they have no space, or is it?
No, that's silly.
All the companies that are console are based there.
Everyone had a sodding MacBook Air, if that were the case.
First off, if we're gonna start doing woe on that, that's our woe moment for this episode.
That's the woe moment,
you're about an hour and a half behind, bro.
You must be lagging.
Secondly, you're lagging. And then secondly, I'm pretty sure that it's all based on the fact that Nintendo's there and Sony's there.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I guess
they're console-centric because the vast majority of consoles for the longest time have been made in Japan. All of the successful ones have been. Microsoft is a recent entry in the grand scheme of things, and Microsoft is not popular over there at all. The 360 only ever sold, really, when a big JRPG came out for it. That's why they pushed Lost Odyssey. That's why they pushed Blue Dragon and all of the JRPGs on the 360. And that actually was the machine for several years to get JRPGs on, because Microsoft knew that was the only way to get people in Japan to buy the bloody thing. So yeah, I mean, it's console-centric because the vast majority of consoles are made in Japan. And they also have they have this very lofty way of looking at things. There was actually an article that came out this week from a famed Japanese game developer that said, we need to just stop pretending that we are the bee's knees at game development anymore, because our games are being outsold on every front by Western games now. We are not kings of game development in the same way that we used to be in the 90s.
Let's be honest. I mean, the way the games, at some point, and if anyone is more a victim, a cause of this, it's the Japanese game developers. But at some point, gaming became less about the game and more about an art form or visual. Like, it looks beautiful, so it must be good. Like, I have not played a JRPG in years that I thought was fun. Like, they're all sort of garbage now, and it's kind of depressing.
I really want to play more of Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I've been told a lot of good things about Xenoblade, certainly.
Yeah, the graphics, because
some
it's
of the
for
best
Wii,
games.
the graphics are. But anyway, sorry, off topic. Keep going.
Well, he's right, though.
No, that's okay. I'll shut up now.
JRPGs have evolved at a very slow pace, and for the longest time, they were the thing because they told the story in a very different way. Unfortunately, they've now been caught up in that respect, and technology's actually gotten to the point where exploratory RPGs like Skyrim that have terrible stories but amazing worlds to explore are a bigger deal than these kind of on-rails JRPGs. Compare Final Fantasy XIII to Skyrim, and Final Fantasy XIII is a roller coaster ride, whereas Skyrim is a gigantic sandpit. You know, a huge.
Let's be honest. If you're gonna call Final Fantasy XIII a roller coaster, yeah, if you're gonna call it a roller coaster, that is the most
I'm not saying it's a good
roller coaster in the world.
Not every roller coaster is good.
Ever.
It's just very limited.
It's a roller coaster called like the L train roller coaster. It's a straight line,
Yeah, it's like
and there's no
the
up or down.
monorail,
You just there's no turns.
monorail
Yeah,
coaster.
the monorail roller coaster.
Yeah. The funny thing is that 13.2 is a much better game, honestly. And what I played at 13.2, I actually did genuinely enjoy. And when it comes to fleshing out characters, I think only BioWare, again, does it as well as some of these Japanese companies to actually have a real fleshed out character. And yes, there's the whole, androgynous males, ha, and cutesy females. Yeah, we get that. But at the end of the day, the exact same stereotypes exist in Western games. How many bulky space marines are we going to get? You know, how many sultry blue aliens or whatever are we going to get?
We need more of them.
Apparently.
More sultry lesbian blue
More
aliens
aliens.
who have sex to know about species. Go! We need more of that. But no matter what, I'm still in the friend zone, so F it. Never mind.
That's why you love the Asari. man.
Aww. Space herpes.
Space
I don't think
herpes.
Asari can catch space herpes, so I think you should be okay. We're going to take a break.
They can.
We're taking a break. And we are now, I believe, past the, 2 hours, 40 minutes mark. So when we come back, I think we'll be going straight on to looking at some Game Station videos and then our wrap-up of this particular show. You're currently watching the Game Station Podcast. If you're watching live, enjoy the great music. If you are not watching live, then we will be back in a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Station Podcast. Hello, greetings.
We're
just talking about
on the
Prometheus
topic of
again.
Prometheus.
What is wrong with you?
No, okay.
We're just
They showed-
arguing because it doesn't make any.
They
goddamn
showed
sense.
me. No. They showed me a trailer. They showed me a
not-
trailer, and it's
no.
it's brand new.
No.
And it's of David.
Yes,
and
the
it's
whole David
amazing.
File thing. Yeah, of course it's great, and you should check it
Yeah.
out. But it's got nothing to do with this show.
But the trailer
Stop.
further proves
In the name
proves
of
my
Friend
point.
Zone. Stop.
In the name of the king. In the name of the dungeon
played
siege. In
it-
the
he
name of
played
the
it Friend
king.
Zone.
Don't even get me. Well, I don't know which is worse, Friend Zone or In the Name of the King. I don't know. I think
In
I'd
the name
rather
of
be
the king is
I'd rather be
definitely
Friend
worse
Zone
than
for my
Friend Zone.
entire life than watch In the Name of the King by Uwe Boll. Honestly. So,
He's an amazing artiste.
I'm gonna go as far as that. You know, it's like one of my favorite hilarious actors is Jason Statham, and that is just
He seriously, he looks
That's
like he
just-
showed up and was like, "Just give me my check and get me out of here." It's an amazing film.
Sounds like we need a In the Name of the King night.
If you've
No.
not seen In the
Nope.
Name of the King,
Bro
You are
can do some
missing-
In the Name of the King, Nerdy Nummies.
You're missing
Great.
out nothing, incidentally. Right.
In the name of the
You're
king, nerdy
So
nummies.
we've got a
God.
selection of videos that are all better than In the Name of the King, because if they
Yeah,
weren't,
that's
we'd have
true.
already kicked them off the game station. So each of us have chosen something from a TGS channel, and we are going to highlight them in a row. Dodger, why don't we start with yours? What's yours all about?
Mine is from Peanut Butter Gamer, and a while back I showed you guys JonTron. He works really closely with JonTron. He does a lot of the same sort of like top 10s and like focusing on just kind of like silly games, and it's frameworked like the review is within like a storyline of him playing it, and I love it. I think that he's very funny and deadpan, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. So this one that I linked to is Lord of the Rings. He's playing an old Lord of the Rings SNES game, I believe, and it's pretty good.
Let's take a look.
What's this? Lord of the Rings review. The game starts off with Bilbo at his 111th birthday! And that means 111. You know, in case you were wondering. And that's longer than most people would live. Kind of important to the story. But that being said, the story is not really that important to this video. Because as you can tell, I didn't really read it. What's definitely important though is that Gandalf walks like a gangster.
My style is rich, dope, fat, and rich. We'll make a cake today that looks rich.
Right off the bat, I'm confused with this game. Why does Frodo have a sword already? Actually, all the main hobbits do. I don't remember that in the book. And I can't walk past this tree even though it's clearly just a path with a tree sprite covering it. This is not a good sign. Well, here's Sam, and he'll gladly join you on your super long quest that will probably end in his death, but he just needs to find some glasses first. Don't remember that in the book either. According to this guy, there's wolves in the plains, and I shouldn't go out there, but blech, what does he know? I don't remember this in the book! Well, I guess that guy wasn't lying. I can see this is gonna go well.
There you go, a clip from the Lord of the Rings game for the SNES, one of the retro reviews from Peanut Butter Gamer. He's actually a guy that I do enjoy watching, but lately he hasn't put out a lot of videos, and this obviously is a new one.
I want him to put out more stuff.
Yes. I believe he did. He's the guy that does To Kill an Avatar, right, if I recall correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very amusing series.
Yeah. You guys should go send him some love, tell him to make more stuff.
Yes.
The end.
That you should do.
The end.
Yeah,
The end.
He's awesome. He's one of the Normal Boots guys, which is also the group that John Tron is part of as well. Focusing very much on retro. Good tasting games, good presentation style, good production values, just generally great all around, amusing to watch. I like to watch his material, but he doesn't make enough of it. So do it! Get it sorted out. Yeah, make more stuff. You can check him out over at youtube.com/peanutbuttergamer. Really as simple as that. I'm trying to think what else he's done, actually. Oh, yeah, he did the G-Files, which was quite good, which is a bunch of glitches, essentially. He'd go through various old games and show off a bunch of glitches and rumors and things like that. Focusing mostly on Nintendo games. A couple of top 10s every now and again. So, yeah, he puts out some pretty good quality stuff. Just doesn't do enough of it. Yes.
Yeah, he's different from John Tron in that he does have, like, those videos like that he was doing for a while that aren't just, what am I even trying to say? That aren't just a separate, like, one-shot video.
Yes.
They're part of, like, a sequence of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to make more of those. I agree with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, let's move on, shall we? To Mr. Warp Zone over there. Davis, what you got for us?
Davis can talk now. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You shut the hell up for 1 second.
Wow.
It's on! It's on! He's asserting himself like a man.
Naked.
Do it.
Naked Halo. Do I describe him after the video is shown?
Tell us what we're about to see.
We're about to show just a little mini montage from Halo 3. He's a big Halo guy, obviously it's in his name. Mostly Reach now, but he did a fun little Halo 3 thing.
Halo 3 thing, okay, yeah. Halo 3 Minitage, let's take a look.
What's up? This is Naked Eli with some nostalgic clips and screenshots that really remind me of the good times in Halo 3. Right here, running around with Snipe on the pit, turning around, taking the kid out from his window, and the double as the kid drops. That was when they used to have window spawns. Right here, Construct Team Snipers. I love the beam rifle. This kid jumps up into a 2-for-1. What about screenshots that everyone would look at in the pregame lobby? Look at this one. You sniped God. I love this screenshot. How about Orbital, where people would just run around in packs? It's so easy to get the X-Term, especially in SWAT. You have all these screenshots. I OPR'd you, or hurry to the hospital. And how about just the dumbest stuff that people would do, like this bubble shield. I'm gonna stick myself. Doo-doo-doo. I just look at this kid. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna reload my BR and run away. So what clips do you have that remind you of the good times? Let me know in the comments. Check out the Populate Halo 3 Day video if you haven't already. This is Naked Eli. Thanks so much for watching.
Short and to the point, Minitage, he wasn't actually kidding on that one.
Yeah, that's why I chose the video. I wanted to highlight him, but I didn't know which video to choose. I'm like, oh, it's kind of short, and it gives you an idea of how he is.
Guns were
Naked
bloody
Eli's
huge in
name.
that game. Good lord.
He's just he's really good at Halo. Really good guy. I love how he has his personality is kind of just very friendly, and you can just tell that he loves the game from playing it. So
He really does. Like we know him in IRL, and he
Earl?
he loves Halo. He knows so much about Halo that I like blank out a little bit because I can't follow him. But yeah, it's great.
I love the fact that Halo used to be the whipping boy that people would mock people for, like, so, oh, Halo kiddies, how. Like, in the last couple of years, it's been like, Halo's become more respectable. It's now, COD kiddies, how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoo. But, yeah, I mean, I've got no problems with Halo, personally, and Halo actually had a competitive scene, still does, and has done so for quite some time. It was pretty much the backbone of MLG. It has been the backbone of MLG.
I was going to say, they're still doing it at an MLG right now.
Yeah, they are. It's never been a game that I particularly got into, honestly. I got Halo Reach, I think, when I bought my 360 over here, and I tried to play a bit of it, and I just, it's, again, it's FPS on console. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the game itself. It's got some really nice set pieces. I like the fact that a lot of the Halo games are very kind of open wondery, like get in a vehicle and drive across vast plains and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's linear, but it had some pretty cool set pieces. But sadly, we got Halo 1 and Halo 2 on PC many years after they came out, and the versions were not that great. So I couldn't bring myself to care.
Well, you should watch some Naked Halo.
And then I might care.
Yeah,
Learn
check
some
him out.
things about Halo.
He's awesome.
Indeed. Naked Halo that's the name of the channel, is it not?
Yeah,
with a
Naked
3?
Eli is the guy.
Is it with a 3?
It's Nackthread Halo.
Nackthread? What?
NAK3D Halo.
NAK. Right.
Making it more
3D.
difficult than it needs to be.
What the hell balls is a Nackthread?
I didn't make the channel. He made the channel.
Nackthread? I'm sorry,
Watch
but
it.
No, I've never heard anyone pronounce it Nackthread. That's insanity.
I was trying to highlight the fact that it's not an E. I'm sorry.
You could have just spelled it out. That would have made more sense. It's only
like
5
bullies.
letters.
Oh.
Aww.
Notoriously lazy.
I almost feel sorry after that. It's like, oh, yes. Oh my. A bit depressing. But yeah, Naked Halo. If you are after Halo stuff, then by all means head in the direction of that channel. I don't even want to ask Jesse, honestly. But I'm going to have to.
I think, once again, it has fallen on my shoulders to not only summarize and encompass an entire episode, but also bring the viewer true entertainment. This is a video, like a lot of you have said, our video it's about like production quality and storytelling. This is none of that. This is zero. This is and it's also a lady who's in the friend zone. It's Lucajin, who does playthroughs in different videos. Except this video
does it?
Actually, this video goes really well with our topic today of Barbie and the Three Musketeers. So I guess just play it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is it her Barbie Pony game? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Oh dear God.
Okay. We're back. My penis is really dirty, but I don't care. I want to go see my balls.
My balls. We got my balls in the last episode. We rescued my balls.
Rescued my balls.
My balls needed help, and we
Oh.
helped my balls.
I missed my balls so much.
I did too.
I hope my balls is okay. We have to go see.
Yes. My penis is dirty, but I'm
That's
sure
alright, my
that
penis
old.
is fine.
I'm sure that.
My balls.
Balls, are you okay? Oh, hello. You're so happy to see us, my balls.
My balls, I choose you.
My balls does not have dreads anymore. I guess Barbie got tired of them and took them out. But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Just to show everyone everything else, all the other stalls are empty. So we have to rescue these horses.
Indeed.
Don't pay attention to any of those crappy names on the bottom because you guys named the ones we're gonna rescue.
Indeed.
We
so
will change it.
in this episode, we're actually gonna rescue the first horse.
The
that you
first
guys
horse, and we'll tell you who that is when we get them. And no problem there. But we are going to use my balls to rescue the first fan named horse.
Yes.
Yes.
No. No. No.
That's amazing.
No.
That is amazing. Shut your mouth. That is too
It's fantastic.
silly.
God, why?
That is hilarious. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. My balls.
I actually was watching that playthrough for a while, not too long ago. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've watched in a long time.
It's amazing.
How are you 30? How?
I cannot stop watching that. I'm sorry. You know what? I never grew up.
Apparently not.
Holy crap. That's one of the funniest. That might also explain why I'm perpetually in the friend zone. It's because I'm like a 13-year-old. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. Riding my penis. Oh, my balls. That's hilarious.
I want to be her friend someday. Someday I'm going to be her friend. That's the goal.
Yeah. I need to buy her
Davis
a drink
has
and
just
not drug
lost it completely. He's disconnected from reality at this stage. I don't blame him. So get away from this crap.
My penis, my balls, it's fantastic.
I'm picking up my penis.
I'm gonna drink some Diet Coke.
My balls.
All my hate. All of it.
The best part is the fact that it's a girl gamer just being ridiculous like that makes me so happy. Like, you have no clue. Like, we need more of that. We need less, like, look at my breath while I play this video game, and more, like, ball jokes. Get on that, ladies. Get on that, ladies.
Breasts have a tendency of getting in the way of video games, which I find suboptimal in the filming process. It's FYI. It's a production tip there from an expert.
Bumping over microphones.
Yep.
It's bad.
Yeah. Tends to be.
But you gotta watch out for your balls!
Well, they have a tendency of getting in the way as well. Where do we go?
Oh, goodness.
Where do we go if we have to...
We just end the show.
I don't even know why we'd want to go to this channel, but just if we want to ironically visit the channel, where do we have to go?
Lucajin.
How the hell do you spell that?
L-U-C-A-H-J-I-N.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that thing.
And it's a lady who plays games and does it well and is hilarious. That's a rarity when it comes to gameplay and ladies.
Women can't play.
To be fair, that actually most males go into that category as well, including everyone on this podcast. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about there.
Hold up. Davis is kind of funny. It's a shame that he's too afraid to chat, and he's got a case of the butterflies and doesn't want to look stupid.
Go fuck yourself. I'll come at you. I will come at you so hard.
Oh,
it's
really?
Also a shame that
Do remember to clean up afterwards, won't you?
Yeah, it's also a shame that I can beat him at Street Fighter Cross Tekken and that other game that I can.
Dude, I will. Oh my god, I will take you so hard. Come.
Shame.
Let's get
remember to clean up
We'll get some
afterwards.
tacos. We'll get some tacos tonight, and then we'll play some.
Yes.
I'm actually
Done.
seriously gonna get some tacos tonight. So if you want to come get tacos.
No,
that'd
well,
be awesome.
I'm not getting tacos. No. Last time I got tacos with you, the guy like threw a whole chicken on there that he just killed, and I had super diarrhea for like a day and a half. So F yourself.
Let's get on to the next video, shall we? That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. Let's do that so that I can end the show and get away from him. I've had far too much of him today already. All right, so my video is from one of my favorite channels. It is the Angry Joe Show, and it's on Star Wars Connect. I think you can imagine how this one's going to go.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
It's wonderful.
We're most excited to have you supervise our mission.
that's essentially the gist of it. I think you can imagine how the rest of the review goes.
I'm not joking. Owning that game, I do own that game, by the way.
Why?
That is dead. One, because you showed me the trailer, and I was like, I have to own that game. And two, because it's so bad, it's something you have to experience. Like, it is horrible. The controls are so wonky. Like, it's like a first-generation Kinect game. It's impossible to control. The only controls that work are in the dance portion, by the way. And that's
isn't that just because they basically skinned over Dance Central? So that's all it is, right?
And Star Wars-ified the music.
They try to hide it either. It's great.
I wouldn't even call. I wouldn't call that Star Wars-ified the music. They changed a few words. That doesn't make it Star Wars.
You haven't heard the Princess in a Battle song. That will blow your mind.
No. Okay, the best thing in the world, is the final fight versus Darth Vader and the Emperor. I know there are videos out there of it now. Holy crap, is it funny? Like, it's too funny to even focus on the dancing. When the Emperor breaks out his dance moves, it's like, holy shit. This game got real.
Star Wars is dead.
Perfect.
This killed it. Everything else before that, it crippled it, but it didn't kill it. Super Bombad Racing, crippled it, didn't kill it. All the merchandising, crippled it, didn't kill it. Masters of Terras Cassie, crippled it, didn't kill it. This is the death of Star Wars right here.
It is. When the Emperor, like, once you defeat Vader, the Emperor comes out and he's like, he like walks up and like, and then he just breaks into like the most hardcore dance.
This is the stuff. This is the stuff of jokes. This is the kind of people make jokes about this stuff, like ridiculous parodies. This doesn't actually happen because it shouldn't.
It did. It's amazing.
No.
The worst thing is.
God awful.
In my long line of jokes about how
it's terrible, but you get around to it.
Yeah, and then you're just like, I love this game. The funny thing is, the part that I love the most is that, reliable as she is, when there's like 2 voice actors in the entire effing game, the dude who plays C-3PO, and then the woman voice actress, and I'm like, who could they get to voice act this game? Jennifer Hale is the voice actress in this game. Basically, she's in every game in existence. Like, if there's a game, she's in it. Yeah. And so I was cracking, like, she's the Jedi who teaches you. So basically, it's the same voice who comes out of every Jedi character in every game that Star Wars
so
is.
stupid.
Telling
Especially
you, like,
bearing in mind
the
Bastila was 4,000 years before this crap. And is probably glad to be long dead before seeing the death of the Star Wars franchise.
It's utterly amazing. Like, it's one of the funniest. I mean, the Rancor one is you cannot
because the death of the franchise. You are contributing to this.
Because the sensitivity is so wonky that the Rancor where you have to run around town destroying stuff, you basically flail your arms about hoping to hit something.
Oh, welcome to every Kinect game in existence.
I recalibrated my Kinect 3 times just because I thought it was broken, and then I had to play other games to realize it wasn't, because the game's that bad. It's horrible. The Jedi, like, you have to like move your hands like you're a mannequin in order to use your like force powers and stuff. And then you do the dance, and it's like a perfect Kinect game. So the dance part is the one thing that's good, and the dance part's the most ridiculous part.
Dance Central reskin. That's why it works.
The pod racing is not bad. I played it at CES, and I had a little bit of fun. You know
what I had more fun with? The pod racing game that came out 10 sodding years ago. That was a better game.
Still is better.
Super Bombad Racing?
No, Super Bombad Racing is better than this. Star Wars Demolition is better than this. And that was a really bad version of Vigilante 8. Yes, Dodger.
I think that Angry Joe is great, and I'm really hoping that you guys will check out his channel.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. We would have been on this all day. But yeah, the thing I love about Angry Joe is that he's got a very set, specific style that is ridiculously cheesy. Like, the green screen stuff and the whole G.I. Joe stuff, completely cheesy. And he embraces that all the time. He plays a nice character, but he also makes really legit points. And he puts a lot of work into his reviews. And, he is he's a reviewer. He is a proper reviewer. And I can only respect that. He's an awesome guy. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him when I get to the US and head over in that direction. Because I know he gets out to a lot of trade shows, so I'll probably run into him.
Yeah, he's really cool.
That direction.
In person,
in that direction.
Yeah, west. That's a direction, right?
Over there.
I cannot wait till you come to the States. I just want to point that out. I'm
I'll be
super
far
pitching the
away from
idea
you
that for
all the
charity
time.
we do a stuck in a room together live stream.
Only
I'm
if we
pitching it.
leave a knife in the room that I have access to.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And because I'll fight you off. We'll get tons of views for that. Then I think we should do a Jesse Shows TB around the United States, like an adventure where they put us in a car and we have to drive from one state to another.
I would kill you within an hour.
Sponsored by
You can't be serious.
No. But
dead.
we like stop along the way.
Dead.
We stop along the way and see the crazy stuff like the world's largest ball of yarn, right? I'm telling you. And I have to explain to you why that's amazing and why you should appreciate it.
It's not a bit more interesting than talking to you for an hour. I'd say that for a fact.
What a dickhole.
I'm sorry, and it's Terraria with you today. I'm particularly disliking you right now. Especially
we have
that
spent an
crap.
awful lot of time together today.
God.
You have been extra bitter for no reason.
I'm
I
super
can't wait
bitter.
for TotalBiscuit to get here so you guys can finally hug it out in person. And
Super
just
bitter.
All
I
that
gotta be
sexual
honest.
tension that's been building can just explode at once.
TB is gonna. We've talked about this. TB's gonna live out in the middle of the desert. He's gonna move to the high desert and live out there as like a reverse. Like he's gonna post-apocalyptic himself. That's what's gonna happen.
Hey, man,
Essentially.
then you're
He's-
prepped, right?
He's
As long as
preparing for
you're
the
not
end.
in it, I'm okay with that. Anyway,
Oh,
I
I'll
think
be there.
We've about wrapped up the show, I feel. So we're going to do the last thing that we always do, which is convince people to go to our channel so that we make more ad revenue. Dodger, what are you doing this week? What's up? What's happening?
News.
Yes.
Got news going on, and Dead Space. I'm finally going to start playing Dead Space again because I took a long break because everybody was freaking me out in the comments. The last video that I put up, they were like, "Oh, I can't wait for her to play the next part. She's going to die. She's going to just die." And I was like, "Oh, no." So I just didn't. I haven't played it because the comments freaked me out. But
Don't read the comments. That's the way to avoid
I know,
these things. Stop it.
I shouldn't because I'm going to get spoiled anyway if I do. So I'm like,
Yeah, you don't wanna do that.
I need to just not.
Ignore
the
it.
game, a playthrough I need. And this isn't on my channel, but we just got done filming the next Gets Played for Ron's channel, so that's going to be going up pretty soon.
Fun.
Oh, they're so fun. I have like weird little burns on my face though because I had makeup in green stripes on my face, so you can probably guess what character I am. But where the makeup wasn't, that's where I got burns. So there's like a weird like red stripe right here, and then my cheeks are burned. It's great. I feel
It's a hot
awesome.
look.
Thank you.
Yeah, the
I
whole
think
skin
so.
scarring thing, totally in this season.
I didn't notice.
Aww.
That's
So wait,
because the
why is that-
webcam
oh,
is
that-
very blurry.
But that's
Skype's not
that's
very
what's going
good.
on. That's it.
Well, I think you look wonderful.
Davis, what are you doing this week?
All right, let's see. Let's plug some things. The Warp Zone, first of all,
Friend Zone
we
101.
are putting up a Drink Games for Gamer. It's our drinking games for gamer series about drinking games for gamers.
It's fairly
Check that out.
self-explanatory.
We also got some sketches coming up next week. Also check out MMOMG. It's my solo channel where I play MMOs. Open beta of Terra starting this weekend. I'm excited. I guess no one else is.
You can play
And finally,
Aviva.
That's true. And most
And you should.
importantly,
You should
buy
play
some gamer
Aviva.
food. You should buy some. It's awesome.
Are you making kettle corn yet? You should be making gamer food.
I'm
kettle
not making
corn.
kettle corn yet. That shit costs money. We got 3 delicious products. Buy some.
Got
What the
gotta
hell
get
is
some
with
caffeinated kettle.
TGS and gamer food? Am I missing something? Like
Hey,
I know of at least 5
it's
different
my-
partners that have this stuff.
It's my
Davis
it's my
makes it.
company. Yeah.
You make it?
What
the hell?
I own it. Yeah. That's why if people are helping me out. Yeah. No.
Seriously?
You didn't know this?
No. Is this some kind of practical joke that you three are pulling on me
No,
here?
it's not. It's
Has
not.
this been the whole? This is what this podcast has been leading up. This has been the subplot. This is the twist right
we have
now.
Been, every
all filler.
episode
This is
has
all filler.
set up
This is
this
all
moment right here. When Davis
At the end, it's gonna be like,
Wow, I
written by M.
feel
Night
so
Shyamalan.
used. Good God. He's actually. That's why he's been silent the entire time. He's been
Bacon
waiting
snacks.
to spring
Bacon
this
snacks.
on us.
I make these. I make these. I make these.
No, you don't.
Do you?
You can't make anything.
Shut up! I do.
Is that why? Is that why they taste like styrofoam?
More. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I want to see 20 minutes of him crying and eating in the
More.
shower.
More. More.
There's nothing I love better than seeing Jesse upset. Nothing.
He's so cute.
Oh, and unable to talk. TB, it's like you're heaven.
Yeah, that's a double whammy of fantastic. God damn. Oh.
Once you stick 20 in your mouth, they aren't so bad.
That's what she said.
It numbs your tongue, and you no longer have usable taste buds. Then it starts to taste okay. Jesus. I'm.
It is okay.
Bring those fingers over here.
What the fuck?
Oh,
no. Jesse, what are you doing this week? And don't tell me you're going to his house after this.
I'm going to Davis's house. Oh no, I just started playing Fahrenheit. For people who aren't aware, and it's an amazing game. I just started it, and it's still an amazing game. So I would definitely go check that out.
Again. Fuck you, Davis.
What?
Your website's down. We broke it.
God damn it.
Good.
Breaking all the websites.
Davis, I think for the sake of future animated GIFs on the internet, you need to be just downing gamer food, crying. Like, your website's down, and go.
Oops.
This gets linked immediately in the chat.
Yeah.
Love it. Done.
That's a good idea. We'll talk later.
You're not doing it right. Ugh.
Sorry.
You suck almost as bad as you do at FPS games. Not FPS. What? Fighting games. Shit!
You can't even get the genre right. That's how terrible you are.
Can we end now? Can we just end?
No,
Seriously.
I haven't plugged my stuff yet. What the hell do you think I'm here for?
What are you
Everyone knows who
doing?
you
This is the only
are.
reason I've been
You're
tolerating you for the
TotalBiscuit,
past 3.5
You dig your
hours.
mailbox, you make fun of fans, you play with me every once in a while, and then you berate me for it, and then you go and you make your what the fuck videos. We know. We get it. We're done. And it's,
God,
There's
do
so
you
much
do you feel
you
better
two,
now
this is
after
just-
that?
I just
So much pent up
You're gonna
tension there.
explode.
Jesus.
Each
Oh my
other
God.
so much. It's fine.
Now, actually, tomorrow I'm going to London,
Check it out.
and that's for the Paradox Interactive UK Media event on the 20th of April. I'm going to go and check out and film 5 different games, including A Game of Dwarves, Dungeon Land, Star Void, The Showdown Effect, which is the new game from the guys that made Magicka, and War of the Roses, the new Fat Shark game. So I'm getting footage of all of them. All of them. So they claim anyway. I'm like, can I bring down a 1 terabyte hard drive and a copy of Fraps? And like, sure, come on now. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to stay there all day and film. That's going to be my purpose there. So, yeah, hopefully quite a bit of content on that. As a result of getting all this stuff sorted out. Plus, we've got Terraria coming up. We just filmed 1.5 hours of it. Major progress. It would have been even more major if Jesse wasn't fucking awful.
Shut up. Don't spoil the ending. Don't spoil the ending.
How is Jesse being awful a spoiler? Really now? Is this standard fare? In fact, there is a reason why every type...
too much.
It's
You're
pretty
hyping
bad.
It. You're hyping it.
It's pretty bad.
It's really an hour and a half of us digging in hell. Really is what it is.
What the hell else was
Let's
to
be
be
honest.
expected? That's the way the game is at this level. It's like, dig for
Stop letting him
Hellstone.
drink while he plays.
Enjoy gathering thousands of Hellstone, because that's what you're going to be doing. So yeah, that was essentially it. But yeah, so that's coming out, and obviously Game Session Podcast. I've been working on that quite a bit. Needless to say, I'm right here.
Can I plug something else? I totally forgot. I feel like I
Okay,
should.
fine. Yes, what we got?
This past weekend we had our 4th build day for our Minecraft RPG we're making, and we built our largest, craziest, like most futuristic cool town yet. It looks like a like basically the town from Blade Runner, and it's amazing. And that's up on my channel right now. And if you want to go experience it in real life, you should go to Shabuzi.com, the server, and the website. Thank you. Shabuzi.
They crashed Shabuzi earlier.
Shaboozey.
Yeah, we broke it earlier. It's probably back up by now, but there you go.
Stop crashing.
There you
stuff.
can go.
Yep. Aside from that,
That's all we're good.
I can also
breaking.
tell you I've got a video of the new Amanata Designs games coming out tomorrow. Those are the guys that brought Machinarium to the field, as well as Samarost. I have their new game. It's not
is
out
that
yet.
Botanicula?
It is indeed, yes.
I played Botanicula at with GOG at
Yes, it's
CD
going to be on
Projekt.
GOG as well.
Holy crap,
How is
is
it?
that a
How is
fun
it?
game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
It's
can't
so-
wait! I loved Machinarium.
Yep. Oh my god, Populous the Beginning just came out on GOG. Holy crap, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night. That is all mine, baby. Holy shit. If that actually works
GOG
as well.
is an amazing site.
Yeah,
Yes,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, Botnet
it's so
Killer
real.
is
He's-
actually
he's
supposed to
doing-
be out at some point, April 19th. So I will hopefully have a video ready for that. And obviously I'll then be traveling down to London. So, you know, there'll be a couple of days of meh. And I'm flying out to the US on Wednesday. So expect... yes, for at least until December this year. So expect a bit of a gap in content and so on and so forth.
Game of Thrones night. One more person.
Yes, indeed. I will happily come around
You
for
will not be able.
that.
You will not be able to tolerate you squealing like a little girl every time Tyrion's on the
I
screen.
don't squeal like a girl.
You're like,
He's got the
Dear
biggest dick in the
Lord.
room. Every time.
that's true. Peter Dinklage does own the world, so.
He is pretty much the best guy in that entire
Ever.
series, so one can hardly blame it. I think we're about done, folks, so please do remember to check us out on Twitter. My Twitter is TotalBiscuit. Hers is Dex Bonus. That's the wrong way. Hers is Dex Bonus.
This guy.
Yeah.
Dex Bonus.
Yeah,
D-E-X-B-O-U-S.
Dex Bonus. He is Jesse Cox and OMFG Catter, if I recall correctly, as well. And Davis, who the hell are you? Why are you
Warp
here?
Zone
What's-
tweets.
There you go. Warp
That's
Zone
the thing.
tweets.
Team
Okay.
Davis.
Can I just say before I go, thank you guys for inviting me. It was awesome.
No problem.
It means a lot.
Thank
It's
you
all
for
good.
coming online and whoring out products and making me feel like I'm not the only one.
That was good.
Stretching.
Yeah, remember to check out the Game Station's channel, folks. That's youtube.com/thegamestation. Our channels are below. Yes, right there. And you can also check out my StarCraft channel, TotalBiscuit. I've started doing I Suck at StarCraft 2 again. That's a pretty good series. You should probably watch that. It's not too bad. And
You really sell yourself.
yeah,
It's
it's
not.
okay. Well, you know, at the end of the day, it can't be that great, can it? Because it's me playing. And I've also just got emails from Riot Games as regards to my 1,000 and 10,000 referral bonuses. So looks like I might be heading over to Riot sooner rather than later. That'll be interesting.
Do it.
And there have been suggestions that I teach Jesse how to play LOL, and we do duo queue.
That's happening, people.
I'm gonna head to a mental hospital first to pre-book myself in before we start filming.
No. It's happening. Don't pretend like it's something you're being forced into. It's happening. It's happening.
Well, I do like.
Don't be
money.
like,
Play Dota.
I'm TotalBiscuit playing TotalBiscuit, the character who's so mad at Jesse, the character. No, it's happening. It's effing happening. I'm breaking the fourth wall. We're doing it. Okay? We're doing it.
We're done, folks. Thank you for watching the Game Station Podcast. Good night. Good night.
I make these.
No, you don't. You can't make anything.
Shut up. I do.
Is that why they taste like styrofoam?
More. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I want to see 20 minutes of him crying and eating in the shower.
More.
There's nothing I love better than seeing Jesse upset. Nothing.